Hey everyone, I'm your host, Valerie David.
And I'm your host, Courtney Massey.
And this is the night session. TennisInsideOut.com once again brings you our famous Not Safe for Work webcast with all the nudity and inappropriate language you've come to expect. So, hey Courtney, welcome back.
Hello. I love that introduction.
I wrote that out to make sure that I did it correctly.
It was very informative and professional.
So we haven't done one of these in a while, and we have a lot to cover.
Definitely. And then everybody on Twitter kept sending us things a few hours ago.
Yes.
And we were like, had everything ready. And then our lovely listeners were just like, hey, look at this. And we're like, oh no, we have to add that now. But
yes.
I appreciate it. We had a lot of great interactions this morning and of people. Well, it was not in the morning, but whatever that time zone was.
It was morning somewhere for someone.
Yes, it was. Time zones are fun. But yeah, we had a lot of great interactions and we love that. So keep being excited.
Yes, absolutely. And we realized that next time we're just going to ask you all what you want us to cover.
Yes.
And actually, I think that could be fun because a lot of times people come up with stuff that we didn't even think of or haven't even seen. And so then that could be kind of like surprising, like what are our reactions to this cool new stuff? So thank you everyone for listening, and we are going to jump right in with something lovely.
Oh, hello.
Hello. For those of you that don't know and who haven't been paying any attention to my timeline, this is the lovely Greek tennis player, Stefanos Tsitsipas. And when he pronounces his name, somehow he pronounces that T at the start of his last name. I don't know how he does it, but I don't want to spit all over you. So you could just go to the ATP website and listen to how he pronounces it. Honestly, he did a really good job on that site because I've seen him in videos where he introduces himself and he says his entire name as like one syllable.
I know, I love that. And then we're all just like, well, we learned nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you for helping us.
I know. Just like I was so happy that Pierre did his ATP one, and they have them say their name twice. So it's like, so the first time you go, what? And they say it a second time. But Pierre said his name the way he normally says it, which is just a bunch of French sounds. And you're just like, okay. And then he says it really slowly for us dumb people that can't speak French. So that was like a super long tangent just to introduce stuff. We're off to a bad start.
I have a feeling we're going to do that a lot tonight. We talked about it before the show. I think we did an hour-long like prep. And it was supposed to be like, we're always like, oh, we'll just go through everything really quickly. And then we just have these conversations and we just go. So I think longtime listeners know what to expect. And some of you said that you would listen to a 12-hour webcast. So you might regret that.
I was going to say you may get your wish. So we're doing something a little different for those of you that have followed the webcast before. We do the In the Tunnel segment, which is to kind of introduce you to a super hot and super lovely player that we think you should get to know. We usually do it as its own segment, but because Steph was just kind of like everywhere, we're gonna like keep going back to him in every section of the webcast. So you'll get to see more and more lovely stuff, and hopefully you will grow to love him as much as we do.
Definitely.
And really hope that he keeps posting shirtless photos like this.
I have a feeling we're like it'll work out. Like, I have a feeling he'll come through.
He'll come through. You think it's gonna be good?
Yeah, I don't think we have to worry about that. I don't think he's gonna cover up anytime soon.
No.
It's just a feeling. Call it an intuition.
He's so good. He does a lot of Instagram and Insta stories, and he's got a blog, and he loves the camera, he's
And
so,
the camera loves him.
and the camera loves him. It's like so cliche, but it's like he's got this beautiful, like easy, calm way about him, and
Yes.
it's seductive. It's like you after a while you're like, am I even listening to what he's saying? Because he's just mesmerizing, and he's doing the perfect thing. It's like he's star material.
Yes. And I kind of refer to him as the Gulbis for the younger generation. And what I mean by that is he kind of just has that something special about him. And in my eyes, like Ernest had that. Ernest was, he didn't look like everybody else. He didn't talk like everybody else. He kind of stood out to me. And that was when I saw Steph, I was like, there's something about him.
Yes, absolutely. And one of the things that really struck me about Ernie the first time I saw him in person was he has got the most like warm eyes. It's just like this just wonderful, like, he's not like cool or distant. It's like you just kind of like drown in those eyes. There's like so much feeling there. And Steph kind of has that same kind of quality where it's like, this is good.
Have you seen him in person yet? Because I haven't.
Steph, no,
Yeah.
extremely good. But I should, because he's up in the he's ranked like 30 something. So hopefully I will be able to see him. Yeah, he's 32, and he's number 2 in the race to Milan for the next gen players. But number 1 is Sasha, who's not going to go because he's got 50 million points and it's embarrassing. So technically he's the number 1 player in the race to Milan. So, and I'm very excited because he turns 20 during Cincy. So I won't be ogling a teenager if he does decide to come.
You know what is funny is I was just about to say that, so I love that you brought that up. And I love how we both are struggling with this because I look like I'm 12. Like most people think I'm very, very young. So me kind of oogling these young guys doesn't look that bad because I look so young. But I'll be 29 by the end of this year. And I'm like, I mean, he's not, he's legal, he's fine. But at the same time, I'm like, is that too young? I can't, maybe I should put out a poll. Like, tweet me and tell me, like, is it too young? Is it? I can't decide.
Well, that's what I have somebody that's been messaging me, and I won't name names, but they're like, oh, I'm 3 years older than him, and I still find him attractive. And I'm going,
3 years older.
3 years?
3 years.
Oh my God.
You guys would have been in high school together. What?
Yeah, exactly. And I'm going, I have no moral quandaries about anything. So, you're talking to the wrong person.
Wow.
So we know what their answer will be to you, apparently. But
you know what? Whoever this person is, you don't have to tweet me.
Don't tell me.
Don't.
I only want supportive tweets.
Yes. Tell me what I want to hear. That's it.
So that's the lovely Stefanos, and we shall be returning to him and his lovely locks. This one's for you. You're going to talk about Roger.
Yes. So, which is funny that a Roger topic came up and you're throwing it to me.
I know.
That never happens. I don't know what to do with myself. Gosh. Okay. So I watched Roger Federer when he was on Running Wild with Bear Grylls. And I the funniest thing about this TV show is that the same guy who injured himself running a bath for his kids is now scaling up and down an ice-covered mountain.
Yes.
And this was pre-recorded, I mean, a long time ago. But watching it was the most nerve-wracking thing because I kept saying, who signed off on this?
Yes.
Who in their right mind would go, hey, Roger, go up a mountain and propel down on a rope? The ice and, it's just, I don't know who signed off on this. But it was really great. I'm glad they did. And I'm sure it's very controlled,
Yeah.
But so some funny things as you see in the photo where he says, I'm not sure if I can swallow it. It's not what you think, you guys. He's talking about a fisheye that they pulled out of a ice coated water, and he screamed when he pulled it out because of the way it felt. The fish was like half eaten and it felt really weird, and he screamed, and so they gave him the fish eye, and he ate it. He ate it. Kudos to him. He didn't spit it out or throw up like I probably would have. But the funniest thing about this episode was how many gifable moments there were, because I was really sad that I couldn't find as many gifs as I did, because his faces were so funny.
Yeah.
Like, anytime Bear Grylls slipped, he looked at the camera and laughed.
Yes.
And was like, haha, the expert slipped and I didn't. And he was so funny. And there was a scene where they built a little campfire that they cooked on, and well, sort of cooked. They basically got a cup of water and put the fish, the half-eaten fish, in, and some like weed thing, and that was their food. But the funniest thing was that before they packed up, Roger Federer was like, "Hey, do you know how we used to put out the fire when we were kids? We used to pee on it." And he was really excited that he wanted to pee on this fire. And so this is definitely a side of Roger we've never seen before. And it was really funny. And also, where the GIF that's on the screen right now, that's not really playing, but they played this little table tennis thing. And the funniest thing about this, I can't remember the score, so I apologize, but Bear Grylls, like, I think had like match point, or like was a couple points to match point, because he practiced. And he felt like Roger wouldn't be able to do it as well because he's not used to the table. And Bear Grylls like practiced for like weeks. And he was so excited to play Roger in any kind of tennis. But the thing was, he was up like 7-0. I can't remember that, but it was a really dramatic number. And he ended up losing because he got too excited. He was so excited that he was going to beat Roger Federer, and then he blew it. And I feel like there are tennis players out there who can relate.
Can identify with that. Yeah. Exactly. I was thinking Madison Keys knows all about that.
Oh my gosh. But it was a fun episode, but you didn't see all of it, which surprises me because you're such a Federer fan.
I know. I couldn't believe that he had done this, and the first video I saw from it was the fisheye one, which was really gross, and I was like, I don't want to watch this. I'm not, And then when we were going to do this for the podcast, I'm like, well, maybe I should watch it, and I watched some of it. I watched some of the beginning, and it was already like a ton of funny stuff right off the bat. Because it is so interesting, because Federer kept saying, like, he's usually quite scared of things that aren't on the tennis court. He kept like reiterating that. And then I loved it when they get to the very first thing and Roger's kind of already looking like, did I really want to do this? Maybe this was a mistake. And then they get to the edge of the cliff and Bear tells him, oh, you're going down first. And Roger was like, I'm going first. Like, he got pissed off. It's like, not only am I scared, but now I'm angry.
Bear admitted, or like explained why he was going first, because he had to hold the rope and make sure, he gets down okay. And after the explanation, Roger was like, oh, well, okay.
Yeah, and then, so then he goes down this, sheet of ice, which is like, it's kind of terrifying. Ice. And he's like slipping, and his hands are killing him. And I'm thinking, oh my God, you're a tennis player. Why are you doing something that's like breaking your hands? This is insane. He gets down to the bottom and he's all relieved. And then Bear starts coming down and Roger is shouting instructions to him about how to do it. And then turning and looking at the camera and smirking.
He was like a boy. Like, he was a little boy. And it was so funny because like he's half terrified. And then once he's doing it, he's like, okay, I'm going to heckle this guy.
Yes. It was hilarious. It was like many emotions of Roger Federer. I mean, it was like you ran this whole gamut of stuff.
Yeah, and it was actually very touching at moments too, because not only were they kind of like heckling each other and doing these wilderness things, but they were having these really great conversations about his entire career and his relationships. Like he talked about falling in love with Mirka and his kids, and his temper when he was a kid, and
Yes.
all these really, really great conversations. And at one point, he gave advice to his children, about never giving up and how it's okay to make mistakes and to grow up tolerant and open. And it was just a roller coaster of emotions in this episode,
Yes.
because you're going, ah, and you're laughing. And then you're also going, oh my God, who signed off on this? He's going to hurt himself.
Yes.
Because, yeah, when, like you said, like, as you described him going down the mountain, like, I was just screaming, who signed off on this?
Yeah.
Who did this?
Yeah. And I feel like he was thinking that himself. Like, oh my God, I'm a moron. Like,
yeah.
But it's interesting because I felt it was also kind of revealing because of the challenges and the stress of playing tennis at this level and in front of millions of people, and you could kind of see that personality where things terrify him, but he still goes ahead and faces them anyway, and then gets cocky about them within like a 30-second span.
Exactly, and he starts laughing like it was no sweat. Like he's not sweating. It's like, oh, it's just like a day at the beach.
Yeah. It was hilarious. And so I was like, it really was kind of an awesome, and I'm going to watch the whole rest of it. Because I am kind of interested now. I did love that they were just like sitting down and having these cute little conversations like on the side of a glacier. So tell me about your career, Roger.
Yeah. It's well worth a watch, because it's better like you've never seen it before, from scaling down a mountain to eating a fisheye to peeing on a fire. And he also got pee shy, and Bear Grylls was kind of poking fun of him, like, come on, Roger, come on.
Oh yeah, God, you're right about the animations, because there was one about that where he was kind of started doing this kind of like jumping motion, and they're showing it from behind, and it's like didn't look like he was peeing at that point.
No, I really don't think he even did it. I think Bear did it, but I don't even know if Roger actually did it or not, because you just hear Bear Grylls being like, come on, man, come on. This was your idea.
Yeah. Oh my God. So we're going to talk about Federer some more, and we had a big discussion about this already too, just about the fact that the brand name, I was calling it Uniqlo originally. Apparently most people say Uniqlo. But then I found a YouTube video about how Japanese people say it, and it's more like Uniqlo.
Uniqlo.
Yeah.
I was repeating it over and over and over again, trying to get it. I don't think I came close.
Yeah.
But Uniqlo.
Yeah, it's almost like it ends in URO.
Yeah, the end is the tricky bit.
Yeah.
Like the last syllable is like goes to your brain in a weird way, and you're just like, I didn't get that.
Yeah, and my thing was that I never thought of it being Uniqlo, because it's usually we do everything QU, and there's no U. It's just QLO. So I was like, oh, it's probably like a K or something. Like it's not unique. So I was like, oh, it's Uniqlo. It's just never crossed my mind. So it's like, I love all these pronunciation things where it's like, even when you're trying not to screw stuff up, somehow you are.
We learn a lot doing this show, you guys. We do our research.
Exactly. It's a learning experience. It's not just all about the ass.
No, we're not half-assing anything. What?
So this was huge. And actually the discussion about this is still going on.
Oh my
Roger
gosh.
Federer has been with Nike forever and ever and ever. And then he developed the trademark RF symbol that fans have like 4,000 hats with it on there, and all his kits for, he has like 10 a season or whatever. So it was like big news that his Nike contract was up. And I think it turned out it was up in March. And then he was just for months kind of just going with the stuff that he had. And then people started noticing like he was practicing and kind of stuff from 3 years ago. And then this kind of rumor came out that Uniqlo had offered him $30 million a year for 10 years, which we already know Roger's amazing. He's playing past his expiration date already as it is. He's probably not still going to be playing in 10 years, except maybe on the senior circuit, if he even wants to do that. So this was like, people couldn't believe it was like $300 million contract. This is crazy. And there's been some talk from a few journalists that said that that's been exaggerated. Roger wouldn't confirm or deny. He was kind of like sort of put out that anybody was even talking about the money.
I mean, it doesn't surprise me just because he's such a huge name and has such a huge fan base that I mean, he's marketable even after he retires. Right. And, people would love to see him in ads. So that doesn't really surprise me money-wise.
No, it's like, when you're talking about an international brand, it's like when you think about who he's bringing to the table, internationally. And, Nike, I think Uniqlo stuff is less expensive, which is actually good news for fans, but you wouldn't know it by listening to them. But that we'll get to that.
Oh, I'm detecting a tone.
I have issues. But yeah, it was, people were really kind of stunned because it was like Nike was just kind of like a big shrug. Like, yeah, whatever. You've got a better deal. Take it. And I guess a lot of people thought Roger wasn't going to do it. They're like, oh, there's no way he's going to go with Uniqlo. It's, Nike's more of a prestige brand and that fits his image better. And I'm going,
if they're about that money, honey.
Oh, I'm like, it's just like people kind of forget that I think some things do matter for Roger about like image and quality and things like that, obviously, but it's still a business. Yeah. And if someone's saying, yeah, we'll give you 10 million for like the next couple of years that you're playing, and then somebody goes, we're going to give you 30 million a year for the next 10 years. I mean, I'm sorry, that's like a no-brainer.
Yeah, and you have to understand, I mean, that's a huge paycheck for anybody, but I mean, he has a family, he has, you're going to go big. Yeah. Especially long term, because he's set. I mean, he's already set, but you know what I mean. Like,
yeah, well, it's for, whatever he wants to do, his charity work, if he wants to start an academy, if it's whatever, it's like, if someone is going to give me this money and it's it's a good company, it's an internationally known company, some people said that they're actually kind of more responsible with how the clothes are made and things like that. So it's like, there's no reason to say no. It's just, it's pure business. And as you can see by this picture I chose, he still looks damn good. So I mean, people thought that because it wasn't Nike, he's gonna come out in a sack or something. It's like the Nike stuff has kind of been shit for the last 3 years. I'm sorry. It's like they haven't really been making anything that special for anyone. I was like, when he showed up in this, I'm like, I don't know, it looks good to me.
But and also, like, Wimbledon's all white anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, it's hard to kind of gauge quality when everybody looks the same.
Yeah, but I mean, like, even the weight of the fabric and all that kind of, it fits him well. It's not some like big, ugly, baggy shirt or whatever. So people were saying it almost seemed like they basically made the outfit the way Roger usually wears his Nike stuff. It was like they accommodated him because Nole's stuff is always like super skinny. It's like ridiculous. His shorts are like made for a beanpole. So it's
I'm sure Roger has a lot of input.
Yeah.
In what he wears and different things like that. I know some players have no input at all, but I think guys I think Roger Federer do have, say or pull or kind of like, hey, this is the look I'm going for.
Yeah. I think Roger is one of the few people that has something, because I think a lot of people always think that the players are like, oh, why would they wear that or blah blah blah. It's like Stan talked about Yonex saying that they asked him like if like what kind of colors he gravitated towards, and he would tell them that. He goes, otherwise they just here's your stuff, wear it.
Yeah, he hated those shorts.
Yeah,
that
originally.
everybody loved. He hated those shorts.
Well, originally, but then he said he liked them and he was upset that everyone was saying so many bad things about them. So everybody kind of had changing feelings about them. It ended up being perfect because it was so distinctive.
I loved them. It was one of the few tennis outfits that I actually wanted to buy. Like, I would actually, like, lounge and...
Yeah, I ended up liking the shorts. I never liked the polo shirt, especially on him. It was like, just didn't fit him right.
Mm.
I didn't think it was that attractive. Weirdly, there was like a yellow version that I liked better. There was something
Really?
about there was some, because it wasn't just yellow, it was like yellow and black, and it was like, it looked really nice on him, and I kind of liked it better. But I ended up liking those plaid shorts, and he was wearing them, I think for part of the grass season with a white polo, and then that looked really good. So, and see, we've tangented again.
The thing about Valerie is she's like the fashion police. Like, she knows, like, her fashion.
Yes.
Like, more than anyway. Like, I'll just look at something and be like, oh, that looks good. But unless it, like, really stands out, I really don't pay attention. And I can always count on Valerie to, like, have an opinion.
Yes. I have many opinions. And I usually don't agree with anybody on my timeline. Like, everybody always likes all the super plain stuff. Like, it's like the person comes out in solid black that looks like a man's shirt, and they go, oh, it's so elegant. And I'm like, no, it isn't. It looks like stuff you wear to, like, take the laundry down. It's like, this is not elegant. I like the stuff that's got lace and print and, you know.
Yes, I'm all about them prints, girl.
Yeah. And I'm thinking, you know, I was really upset where I'm like, am I insane? Because no one agrees with me.
No, everybody else is stupid.
Well, when I started thinking about it, I'm going, most of the companies are making this for like the average person that goes to the club and wears these tennis clothes. And obviously those people also like the prints and stripes and stuff, because they wouldn't keep making the stuff if no one was buying it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if people only bought plain black or plain white, they wouldn't bother making all this crazy stripes and flowers and, you know, whatever.
I mean, the zebra print was a little bold.
Yes.
That, I feel like that took a little bit of a hard left.
Yes.
I mean, I liked it in the fact that it kind of stood out and, you know, but at the same time, like, I wouldn't go for it. Like, if I saw that in a shop,
yeah,
I would probably, I'm not an animal print person. I like prints, but I'm not big on animal print.
Yeah, see, I like animal prints. But my thing with that was, it always made me think of, I think it's LA Story, where the one woman character says that you get dressed and then you look in the mirror and then you turn away and look at the mirror right away. And the first thing that you look at, take it off. And it was like this hilarious, you know, crazy thing, but it was kind of like sometimes it's too much.
Yeah.
And I think that's what they do with the kits a lot of times, where it's like a cute zebra shirt and then there's like a little zebra on the shoes and you're like, oh, that's awesome. And then they put on a zebra, you know, hat and zebra shorts, and their racket has a zebra print on it or whatever. It's just like, oh my God, stop.
Too much. Yeah. How many zebras have to die?
Yeah. And I guess part of it is that's just what they're selling, and they don't expect people to necessarily wear that whole thing together.
Yeah, you're supposed to mix and match. Like, you ain't supposed to put it all on.
Yeah, and I think sometimes the players don't even know that, because sometimes they send the players a whole ton of stuff, and it's like, oh, you can wear this with the black shorts or whatever. Because sometimes the guys do that, but other ones are just like, oh, this is what they sent me. I must have to wear zebra matches zebra, right? But we digress. The thing that killed me about this Roger Uniqlo thing was, I get it that it kind of sucks because the RF thing, there's a dispute about that Nike actually owns it.
Yeah, that's what I don't disagree with, or that's what I disagree with in this whole thing, because RF, like, is Roger's brand.
Right.
And I believe that should go with the player, but I believe it is going to him at some point. I don't know when.
Yeah, and that's what's been vague. And he was saying Nike could be nice and just transfer it over, but that, you know, obviously losing him as a player, they might decide to screw him and hold on to it for 3 years for non-compete or, whatever.
Yeah, I do not believe in that. When someone, I understand it to a certain extent, but I think when it's something like it's his name.
Right.
Like, and that's the thing, like Stephen Colbert had a similar type of thing with Comedy Central, where they didn't want him doing his Stephen Colbert character on his new show. And he was like, that's me.
Right.
I created this. This is who I am. This is my name. And he basically just said F you to Comedy Central. So I'm kind of the same way where I'm like, it's his name. He owns his name. You can't take it.
Right. And I mean, I think it would have been fine if they would have said, we'll sell it to you for 20 million or whatever. Because he's got the money. He could pay for it. Or Uniqlo could pay it, because they're obviously going to make their money back.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I would think a buyout would make sense because I understand if it's something that they developed in-house.
Yeah. I get
it. They own it, but it's kind of like you're not going to sell RF stuff when you don't have Roger anymore. So then you're just being an ass, hanging on to it for 3 years. That
I wonder though, if they continue making it, fans would probably still buy it if they could legally do it.
Well, see, this is the thing that slays me.
It slays you. It slays you. Just the way you said that in such a casual way, like, this is what slays me. I've never heard anyone say that. I'm sorry, go on.
Well, it does. It's like the fan reaction to this was so insane and so personally upsetting to me. Because I have been mad at Nike for a long time that they are just basically making absolute shit and putting a Nike swoosh on it and saying Roger wears this, Serena wears this, basketball players wear this, and people buy it for like $90 and it's worth like 38 cents. It makes me furious. And then all of these people are basically saying, we don't care. If it's got RF on it, we're going to buy it. And we can't believe we can't buy RF stuff more. I'm going to go jump off a cliff because I can't buy Nike anymore. What are we going to do? And we can't do Uniqlo. That's weird. And, like they were like having like panic attacks and crises.
I mean, I get it to a certain extent because I hate change. I am not good with change. I do not pretend to be good with change. But yeah, I mean, a bit much, like the zebra print. A bit much.
A bit much.
Bring it back a little bit. Just a little bit.
Turn it down. Because it was like, I was perfectly open to a discussion about, Nike is more fitting in with his personal brand or whatever, that kind of thing. We're worried about what the quality is going to be like. Because JD, of course, said that, he goes, well, Uniqlo, he goes, here, that would be kind of like if Roger Federer was wearing Champion.
Oh man, that is such a good burn.
I know. It's like, whoa. And only probably American people might get that, but it's kind of the Walmart.
Well, that's how I feel about K-Swiss.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I used to know K-Swiss just from shoes.
Yeah,
the tennis guys that wear, I don't know if they actually do kits anymore.
Sam Querrey used to be K-Swiss, I think.
And the Bryan brothers were too, I think. But they're all there.
It wasn't like a big thing. That's the thing. It was such a like off kind of brand in a way, in my eyes, because I'm familiar with K-Swiss. I've owned K-Swiss shoes, but it just seemed like not a major player.
No, and the kits were hideous, just absolutely hideous.
I don't even remember what they were.
They were like really bad, bad stuff with just a giant red stripe down the middle of their back, and that was like the only decoration on the shirt and stuff. And they were like all like big and baggy and shapeless, and it was bad stuff. So we've dissed everybody in this segment.
I know.
We don't like. Clothing manufacturers, we don't like hands.
We used to be nice, I think. I don't know. Well, no, we had that whole neck beard thing, and we've been mean in the past. I usually apologize though. Like anytime we've been mean, I'm like, I'm so sorry, and I have a heartfelt apology. And Valerie's just like, fuck them.
I know, it's like and I just realized I think we've been talking for an hour and we're like on the 4th tab.
But that's what we always do. That's the thing, we always do it. All right, we'll get it going.
Yeah, these are the longer topics, but
Yeah,
you know,
Insta goodness will
yeah,
only do 2 hours now.
yeah, 2 hours. So this was just fabulous. This was just like the Bear Grylls thing. We like saw a different side of Roger. This was like brand new information for me as well. This player, Dylan Alcott, he's actually a wheelchair basketball player as well as a wheelchair tennis player.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and he's won a few slams, and went to finals in doubles, and I think it was mostly Australian Open and US Open. This was the first time he played Wimbledon. And I think they just had doubles, wheelchair doubles, and he got to the final. So he is definitely a very accomplished player. And he was on this interview show, and I'm just going to play this because it's captioned. You won't be able to hear the sound, but it's this really cool thing where he's talking about the first time that he met Roger in the locker room. And I'll let you follow along.
Cheers, mate, you weirdo.
And you'll have to listen to it too, because his accent just makes it even funnier.
Penis on my shoulder.
Hello, I'm Roger.
I love the tennis tour. Safe to say, I love the tennis tour. I feel like that's a reaction we would have.
Yes.
Like the first time, like if we go to a tournament for the first time and like Roger Federer's penis is on our shoulder and we're just like, I love this place.
I love this. This is amazing. Look at this guy. Penis.
Don't look.
And
Oh my gosh.
It was just so awesome because first off, I know guys do this in the locker room and it still bewilders me. Women don't do it as much. Men tend to walk around locker rooms naked. And I just didn't think Roger would be one of them.
How do you know what goes on in these locker rooms, Valerie? You seem to know an awful lot. Like you said that with real confidence.
I am married to a man. My father has been to health club and always tells these really horrific stories about all the, because he's very offended by it. All these guys just walking around naked and going, and they've got
Thanksgiving at your house.
But it's my favorite
your
story.
Father is like,
yeah, he's talking about that. Guys are at the sink where you want to wash your hands after going to the bathroom, and the guy's standing there naked, fixing his hair with his junk in the sink.
Oh.
So these are the kind of things that go on, apparently.
Yeah.
But I just didn't picture. It's just like psychologically too. I'm thinking you're playing this intense tennis match, and they like when you're given a speech, they tell you to picture the people in their underwear or picture them naked. You've seen Federer naked.
Yeah, like he can literally imagine it anytime he wants.
Anytime I want. And now there's 10 of them.
And I think he does because he was really pleased by that interaction. He was like, this is amazing.
That's amazing.
I love tennis.
I love tennis.
Yeah, like if he wasn't a tennis fan before, like he is now. But it's funny, like I'm glad that he had such a positive reaction to that and wasn't like freaked out.
No, he just thought I just loved it because it was that kind of a thing where it's like it's eye level.
Yeah, like it's not like it's not like he can like just get up and like walk across the room. Like and like no, yeah, like usually under other circumstances you could like move easier or be like immediately stand up out of eye line, out of the danger zone if you so think it is the danger zone. And he was just like he's just stuck there with his penis in his face. And then it's like Roger, like think about it.
Yeah, right. Well, except, and you know what? Knowing Roger, I would say no. Like that just probably wouldn't occur to him.
Like
he's probably thinking the dude's grateful. Came this close to the Federer penis.
It's grateful. Well, he did sound grateful. I mean, it's just I love tennis, but yeah, it's wow.
And I'm just thinking it adds even further context to the locker room attendant who seemed so excited about this guy's where his locker was going to be.
Yeah,
Get to see the fed penis.
yeah. It's just like your lockers are. You better go there now.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be us as a time, like winking at each other, like you gotta go around the corner. You're in for a surprise.
Oh, locker number 61. It's your lucky day.
It should have been 69, but
Yeah.
fine.
Yes.
Fine.
It was close enough.
I'm very mature.
Yes, but we're learning, and it was like we do keep learning more and more about Roger because people keep spilling the beans now. I don't know, maybe they had like a non-disclosure agreement before.
Well, he's showing the beans now.
Well, because I remember that was the story about Luca Pui, that he trained with him in Dubai, and I remember when he was talking about it in an interview, and he said that, people don't realize how hard Roger works in these practices, like it was so intense, and we were like practicing for like 4 hours straight, and he said that Federer just walk right off the court and just step right out of his shorts and go right into the ice bath. And I was like, really?
I mean, is there video of that?
That's what I was just like.
Is there like, yeah, it's like, all right. I love when players randomly get dressed on the court.
Yes.
Like, and because I remember I missed Gilles Simon taking off his pants on court. I missed it. I was at that practice too, and I missed it.
Oh, that's just cruel.
I know. And I came in after he had already reclothed.
Oh.
And I was so sad. I was like, why doesn't this ever happen when I'm around?
I know. That's what my husband and I always say, European, because they do seem to be more comfortable with that sort of thing. It's just like, Gilles dropped his pants on court. He's European.
He's French, you know how the French are.
He's French, whatever. So,
but it is funny. Like, back to this story. Like, it is funny because Roger Federer just seems so proper. Like, he's like the queen of tennis. Like, you have there's protocol, and there has to be, he's so like prim and proper. And then in reality, his dick's just swinging around in Dylan's face.
Yeah, it's like you're thinking he's probably in the locker room, like wearing a red velvet smoking jacket,
Yes. Yeah,
you're just not, and like you have to like ask permission to see the fed penis. I just think that he would just be walking around.
Oh my gosh,
naked. And I know that the one thing that I always do whenever I write any kind of parody type thing with Roger's voice is I do always have him cursing like a sailor. So I have always known that there's another side to his personality, but I didn't realize he embraced the nudity so freely.
Is there a nude beach anywhere near a tournament that we could like lure their asses in and like be like, oh no clothes after this point. Guess it has to come off.
Oh my god, we could just leave a little trail of lint candies. Get them to the nude beach.
Oh my gosh, I've never been so happy about this. Something that will never happen in my life. All right, what's next?
Oh, so moving on. Oh, this is you. You got to talk
the
about
royal wedding. Did you watch the royal wedding?
No.
I told myself that I wasn't going to. I thought, I'm not really into it. But I'm the type of person that cries at Hallmark Christmas movies.
Yes.
I got super into it like 5 minutes in. And but one of the great things was to see all the, celebrities and see what everybody's wearing. And of course, Serena Williams, who's friends with Meghan Markle, was in attendance. And Serena genuinely looked the best dressed. Like, I loved her fastener hat, which I am obsessed with, by the way. Because I want to wear one of those hats so badly. I don't know why that's a desire in me, but it is. Like, I have no reason to wear one. Like, I don't go to the Kentucky Derby. I don't have reason to wear one, but I want to so bad. And she looked amazing. And also, another part of the royal wedding that I liked was to see who got prime seating. Because there were tons of celebrities all over the place. And Serena, of course, being friends with Meghan Markle, got like prime seating, like box seats, so to speak, in the church. But like David and Victoria Beckham did not.
Oh.
And I don't know why I was fascinated by that.
Yeah, because they're kind of in with the royals, so that is kind of unusual.
And like, and I don't even think like Idris Elba like got prime seating. I don't know where he was. I can't remember. But I know like George Clooney and Alma Clooney, they got prime seating. But I was really fascinated with like the celebrity hierarchy of the royal wedding. But so of course, I love the pomp and circumstance. I love the show and the trumpets and the I'm into it all. But so in this next segment, in this next tab, I should say, ESPN got into the pomp and circumstance because the Royals came to Wimbledon, and of course Meghan Markle came to support Serena Williams. But the greatest thing was the ESPN ladies dressed up all fancy, and they had elderflower cakes, and Pam Shriver had the greatest reaction ever. So they were talking about, all the getting decked out, and just all she said was fascinating in the least excited voice I've ever heard anyone. She said it so deadpan. And it was just the greatest. I've never heard someone say something so American in my life. Like, she had the greatest reaction. If there's video of it on Twitter, I recommend trying to find it, because everybody was like, oh, look, we have elderflower cakes and the hats, and it's the Royals. And she's just like, fascinating.
Fascinating.
Like, get me out of this hat.
Well, and that's how I feel like her and Mary Jo are just kind of like, they just look so awkward. Like, it's like they just like tackled them and glued this thing on their head and then pushed them onto the set. And Chris McHenry is more like, oh yes, I wear this every Wednesday.
This is just another day for me.
Yeah, I said that we were talking about this in our warm up. I was gonna say the pre-show. We're like that awesome now. We have a pre-show.
We have a pre-show, and wait till you see our after dark show.
There you go. Woo! But I was talking about that. If anybody knows the sitcom In Living Color, which I think is from the 90s, maybe.
Yeah, I think 90s.
Yeah, there was one sketch that was two guys that did these very camp movie reviews, and it was always like they hated everything. Damon Wayans was bald, and he always had these little tiny hats that he wore askew. And I mean, it was like you would just wait every episode to see if he's going to have a hat on. What kind of hat is it going to be? It's going to be a little jester hat. Is it going to be a little, church hat?
Is it going to slide off?
Is it going to slide off? And like sometimes they had it like with like a chin strap, Sometimes it was like glued on there. I mean, it was just hilarious because it's just this little tiny hat, and Mary Jo's hat at that angle just reminded me of that so much. So it's anybody that watched In Living Color will hopefully find that as amusing as I did. But yeah, I kind of like it when ESPN does some of this ridiculous stuff. It's like, I'm sure sometimes they're probably like, oh, fascinating. But it is kind of funny for the viewers to kind of get you into it.
I like it. Any opportunity to dress up, I will take.
Yes.
I will jump in there and put on that hat. I want to wear a fastener hat so bad. And knowing me, it would never stay. And I would be fighting with it the entire time and cursing it. And like, this isn't working. But one day I just want to dress up and be all fancy and pretend that I'm fancy and royal. And
exactly. Yeah, my great aunt had some really gorgeous hats that she let me borrow some when I was like a teenager, and I remember being so excited because they were these like they were like royal hats. They were like super posh, and I used to wear them for Easter or whatever, and and I was like so excited about them, and everyone in my family was always kind of like fascinating. And then at one point, I finally saw a picture of myself in these hats.
Oh no.
And it was like, yeah, I can't make that work.
Aw.
That is
I'm sure you look lovely.
Honestly, it's like my mother can wear any hat. Like she can put on the stupidest thing, hat and sunglasses, any kind, any shape. She looks awesome. Me, hats, just like I love hats, but it's like there's a very few particular kinds that I can get away with, and the rest of them are it's not good.
My favorite hat story is when Ernest Gulbis tried to wear a hat, but his hair was too fluffy.
Oh no!
And so every time he ran, it fell off, and he kept trying to wear it, and it wouldn't work. He finally gave up, but like he gave it a hard go for a while.
Oh my god, that's hilarious! He needed little bobby pins to keep this girl.
He needed a fastener. Oh, call Adidas. Call Adidas. Someone call them up and say, we got an idea for you.
Oh my god. Yeah, this was my funny thing about the royal wedding, that it was like that Serena Williams had I think it was a pre-Wimbledon press conference. It was like one of the first days. Yes. And it says they canceled her press conference this afternoon so that she could accompany Meghan Markle in watching Prince Harry play polo.
Hell yeah. That's my dream right there. That I could call off work and be like, sorry, I have to go hang out with Meghan Markle and watch Prince Harry play polo. Like, that's no one's gonna, but that's like a dog ate your homework story. I mean, everybody buys it with Serena. What did you do?
I don't know. I'm just laughing about it because I'm just like, not only like for anybody, but it's like Serena's already playing center court on Wimbledon, which is already like as posh as you can get in tennis. And it's like, oh, but I can't talk about this in press because I have to go watch Prince Harry play polo.
Yeah. Checkmate, my friend. Yeah, checkmate.
Exactly. We have gone to a completely another level.
Yeah, we've totally, like the royal box. Yeah, that's fine. But yeah. I mean, have you watched Prince Harry play polo? No. I want that life. Someone get me in there.
Yeah, exactly. And it was like, you're not supposed to skip press conferences and you have to pay a fine and all that kind of stuff. And it's just like, you can't be annoyed by that excuse. There's like skip the fine. There's like nothing. How do you be mad about that? It's like you're in London and it's the royals. It's like, are you going to say, oh no, we're sorry, Serena can't come out and play today?
But also the press, no offense, press people, but like in one of her last press conferences, they asked if she was intimidated by Maria Sharapova's good looks. Like, I'm sorry, I would rather go hang out with Meghan Markle and Prince Harry than sit there and see what fresh hell is waiting for me in that press room.
Oh my god, yes, that question was roundly criticized by pretty much everyone.
Dude, they made fun of that on Seth Meyers' show this week.
Get out. They
made fun of that on Seth Meyers' show. Yeah.
Oh my god.
This week. It was like a day or two ago they made fun of it. I think Wednesday or Thursday show. I think.
Oh wow. So it's just gone far. So Courtney made us this awesome graphic because we're covering the whole grass season. That's why there's 40 tabs, because
yes.
There was a lot to cover, and of course
2 hours in and we're like 5 tabs in. This always happens to us, you guys. We swear we're like, we have notes. We have like, we're so locked in, and then we start recording and we're just like, hey, let's just talk and
let's see where this goes.
Everything. Yeah, let's see where this goes. Can you imagine us on dates? Tell us about yourself, and we have like 15 tangents.
Yeah, I did go on quite a few first dates. Although, granted, that was usually because I was like, eh. It's like, are you going to go out with him again? Eh.
She is not going to mow that ass, is what she's trying to say. So, your ass is grass. And we're gonna mow it. And this photo is from OutsideTheBall.com. The beautiful Maylene Ramey took it, and at the Aspel Tennis Classic, which seemed very posh. from the photos that I've seen. So credit to them, and we did a bunch of live coverage from London. So scroll through our timelines and look at all that.
And as we're apparently looking at Rafa's ass right now.
Dude, it pops, man. Like it pops out.
Yeah, I feel like Stan passed him up at one point, but then Rafa came back and he gained some weight again, and yeah,
in his ass.
Yeah, well, like overall, and then it goes to his ass, so it's good.
I wish I had that problem because I have no ass, you guys. Like it's hard to keep things up. Because I have nothing to keep anything up. It's like I could not like put a glass on my ass. Like
I was just gonna say, can't use it as a shelf.
No, it's really depressing. Sorry, that was a personal problem. I realize that. I'll get through it.
That's a personal note. So we're talking about
the Boodles.
Boodles are probably Night Session's favorite tournament of the year.
Oh my gosh, it's just it. I think I've said this before. I can't tell if I'm embarrassed by it or want to be like one of the cougars that go after these young guys. We've already established I have a problem with if I'm going to perv over young guys. But yeah, so I love this footage because it's Zverev taking selfies with the cougars, and then Karina Busta just sipping champagne, just sipping. It's just the most relaxed, posh thing you will ever see.
Yeah, and it's a shame because it's like you want the whole tournament to be like this, but sometimes you have to sit through a few matches that are kind of like nothing really happens, and the players take it really seriously. And,
I hate that.
Yeah, and you're like,
what am the program? Like frickin' flirt.
Yes.
Or drink alcohol, or like pull your pants down. Do something.
Yes.
I hate when players take exhibition tournaments seriously. That's my biggest pet peeve in tennis.
Yes, absolutely. And this is where Benoit comes in. I feel like the Boodles helped Benoit learn to love the grass because he previously, he despised the surface because he always, the Stan had to teach him to play on it because he was always falling down, and
well, they all fall down.
Oh, but he was like, he couldn't walk 2 steps without falling down. Now he just falls down like every 3rd step. But
it's like ice.
It's actually this brilliant thing because he really had a pretty good grass tournament, and it was like because he realized the Boodles is like his people. Because when he plays these crazy shots and falls on the ground and like yells weird stuff, these people love it. Yeah. They think it's amazing. And so it's like he's supported there. And because I mean he's like been booed by French crowds because they like don't think he takes things seriously enough or whatever. But the Boodles people are like, this is what we want. Give us more. So he played this match with Liam Brody, he was a contender for In the Tunnel.
Yes, Woke Bay.
Woke Bay, and so I'm sure.
Hopefully a legit Woke Bay and not like a catfish Woke Bay like we apparently had before.
Yes.
The fuck that was.
Yeah, I started following him on Instagram, and yeah, he's a little more like bro kind of a guy than I was expecting. But I haven't seen anything offensive. I don't think. Well, never mind. Oh. That's a whole. I'm not going to go on another tangent.
Okay. I'm curious now. You just did cliffhanger, but that's
fine.
No,
it wasn't anything. It's just like the usual. It was like him taking a picture of his friend at a birthday party, and it's like 5 girls in the front that all, I don't. They look like ladies of the evening, but I probably shouldn't say that because they probably weren't, and then I've just offended a whole bunch of people.
I didn't know where we were going with that. Not gonna lie, I didn't know it was going there.
But it was just like one of those tacky pictures where it's like all these women in like scantily clad, like all together, like they're gonna film a porn.
Isn't that basically everybody now? Like, isn't that the look these days?
Yeah, but it was
before
like
it was just Halloween. Now it's like every day.
Yeah, but what it was 5 girls that looked like that, and then this like asshole guy in the back going, you know, making like hand signals and looking like a drunk asshole. And it was just like, ew.
Yeah. Lads night out. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I was just kind of like, so it's not anything like, you know, oh, let's get the torches. It wasn't bad.
It's just a little bit. It's just a little broy, broy for our taste.
Yeah, so it was a little disappointing because he was like super sweet at this Boodles event, and he tweets out a lot of stuff on social media that, you know, is really like socially conscious stuff. So I mean, I think generally he's a good guy, but it's sometimes following people on Instagram, sometimes you see stuff you didn't want to see. But anyway, I love this picture because this was how he looked for the entire match, because he also thought Benoit was awesome.
I know, he looks really happy, and Benoit looks like he's in pain.
Well, Benoit was in pain.
Oh, was he?
I think, because I don't know if you saw him play in Wimbledon where he was mummified. He was
mummified?
Yeah, his entire leg was bandaged.
No, I don't think I saw that.
Yeah, and when he was playing this match, he fell down like 5 times. But you know, some of it was like, oh, I'm just going for this cool trick shot or whatever. But a couple of times he felt hard.
Yeah.
And then he started grabbing his knee. And at one point, I felt like there was this moment where he was considering retiring. And the crowd was just kind of like laughing and like having a good time. And I think he went, I can't do this. I can't let these people down, like retiring in an EXO match. I just, you know, everybody's having a good time. And so it's like, you could see it was like he just made this decision at this point, and he kept playing. But then he came to Wimbledon, and the rumor was that he actually like tore something. It was meniscus. He had a torn meniscus, which is like,
that in your knee?
Yeah, that's what Roger had surgery for.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I was like, I know a lot of people that had surgery for that.
Yeah, and so I'm hoping that either the rumor wasn't true or that it was just some kind of like minuscule tiny tear, because I was like, why is he even playing? But he had his whole leg like mummified. But I think he got through like 3 rounds or something. I mean, he was playing really good tennis. It was insane.
Well, I guess it helps you focus more.
Well, yeah, I guess. Well, somebody said that the bandages were keeping the crazy inside. So, but Benoit I hope he keeps going to the Boodles, because it just seems, even though he hurt himself, it just seems like he kind of learned how to love grass, because that's what his game is perfect for, because all those crazy drop shots, and you know, he's great with the backhand, you know, with winners and stuff. And it was like he has fun with it now instead of being pissed off all the time. Which is, you know, a good model for playing tennis.
Definitely.
This is since Steph's our in the tunnel guy. We've got some more stuff that's not going to play. Okay. Steph does these travelogues, and I just wanted to include a little bit of this because this is where he met Jason Isaacs, and he has this like sweet, like super friendly way about him, and it made me laugh because Jason Isaacs was asking him kind of like, you know, what else do you do other than playing tennis or whatever, and he's like, oh, I have these vlogs, and then he goes, is that what you call them, vlogs? Like, and Jason Isaacs goes, yeah, what, I'm old. What are you asking me for? I don't know.
Oh my gosh, that's so cute. And of course, I'm a nerd, so like he's hitting with, you know, Malfoy. Yes. Malfoy. So I was quite amused. And there's also a quote from a video that I saw where Steph goes, "How long have you been playing tennis?" And Jason goes, "Since this morning."
And he's doing pretty good.
Yeah, he hung in there for an old guy.
And Jason's got the this made me laugh.
I didn't know that was coming. That was like 3D.
I know. It's like he's so cute.
He's very cute. I think I know where I'm leaning towards the poll here that we were talking about earlier about if I should how I should see him. Oh my gosh, look at his smile. He kills me.
He's just so adorable. So that's
I'm biting a
lesson.
pen. You can't see this. I'm biting a pen.
I know, it's like we're just this podcast is going to be 12 hours because this is like 6 minutes. We're just watch the whole thing. We're gonna be like, he's so pretty.
Yeah, like just you guys make a cup of tea.
Oh, here we go from pretty to.
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. Well, we go from villain as Lucius Malfoy to a stuff of nightmares. This made me laugh so damn hard, you guys. I've seen these masks so many times before, but there was something so incredibly creepy about seeing people doing mundane things while wearing these Kyle Edmund masks that just, I want to make a horror movie just of this.
Oh God.
I was so genuinely excited about this because it made me laugh so damn hard. And it just, look how terrifying this is. And I love Kyle Edmund. That has nothing to do with him. It has to do with just these masks and in doing everyday things. It's just the creepiest thing in the world.
And I think it's because it's like, it's close to looking real, but then like the proportions are off and the eyes are hollow, and it's just like,
It's terrifying, and it's the funniest. I laughed. I had such a good hearty laugh. Look at it's like The Shining.
That's what I was gonna say. It's like a horror movie because I think it's even scarier when there's multiples of them, because then that adds a whole nother level of like, oh my God, they're multiplying. It's just
No, it's like an apocalypse of Edmund, and
I love it. I've never understood why people want to do this. It's just like, oh my God.
I mean, like, I get it for like a photo opportunity, but like but like in a crowd, like in a fan situation, not like getting ice cream and doing just regular mundane things that it doesn't make sense out of context.
Yeah, right.
That's the thing. Like if you're in a crowd or whatever, it doesn't look as creepy. But when you're in just like that, it looks like a horror movie.
It looks creepy to me anywhere. I just like the giant, when they have the giant heads that they're holding
those
up.
Big heads. I like those.
I know you and I never agree on this stuff.
I do like the big heads. I like, well, it depends on the photo they use, but I think in general those are fine.
I find it all creepy. Maybe I have a problem with proportions or something. That seems to be the stuff that freaks me out.
Just a floating head.
Just like
that's not the kind of head you want over your shoulder.
Yeah, because you know what? It's funny because this is like this is the kind of thing where it's like on live, when I'm back in my old days on LiveJournal, back in the day.
LiveJournal, holy crap!
Yeah, in the Slash fandom, and those of you who are familiar know what that's about. But one of the things that people used to do is they called them manipulations, where people would take photos of characters or people or whatever and put them together in a way that looked like they were making out or whatever. But it was obviously like super photoshopped or whatever. I always found those completely creepy. I found them disturbing.
No, I agree. And like the ones where they put them on porn images and stuff.
Yeah. And it was honestly, because it wasn't that because sometimes the images were like actually beautiful, like what they were taking the images from. I didn't have any problem with nudity or separately. Sex, but the proportions creeped me out because it was like, well, that's not his hand, and his head's too big, and that shadow isn't right. And
I just like, that's not his hand.
I know. It's like, I know these things. It's just like fashion. I pay attention to these things.
It's in the devil is in the details.
Well, it is. It's like, because it was like Frankenstein-y, and I guess that's kind of what this is like. It's like they chopped off someone's head and put it on someone else's body. It's like,
on a little girl's body.
I'm like probably telling people way too much about myself.
But I feel like we were way past that.
Yeah.
So, should I tell everybody what Love Island is yet?
Yes, I think we should, because I don't know.
Before we get into the joke? Okay, so everybody's been talking about the TV show Love Island, which is a reality show in England where everybody goes into a house and they try to couple up. So it's kind of like a dating show. That's all I really know about it. And I don't really know much. I've never seen it, but I know a lot of Americans have started tuning in, and all the tennis players, like everybody, when they go to England, all they do is talk about Love Island, including Andy Murray.
Yes. If you can't see the caption on here, he says, looking like we should be on Love Island instead of a tennis court, but it's not how it looks. And then I think it's a kiss emoji too, which is extra hilarious.
Oh my god. Yeah, the lips, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. But they really do. I mean, they really look like they're going for it.
Although it does in a way kind of look photoshopped.
Yeah, there you go. It's a manipulation.
Like in a slash fiction. Yeah. Doesn't it? Doesn't it look like someone like created that? But it's real, you guys.
It's real. It's always funny to me how I love all of these net interactions, because when you see them live, most of the time you're like, oh, that was a cute little hug, or, you know, oh, they shook hands or whatever. But then when you take it frame by frame, you get these like super erotic looking moments that it gives it a completely different context. And it's amazing. Because it all depends a lot of times on where they're looking, because they both are kind of like looking at each other's lips. It's just like, dude, go for it.
Do it. Kiss. Kiss. Yes. Kiss. It would be funny if like the whole crowd just started chanting, kiss, 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 kiss.
I keep waiting for it to happen.
Didn't we have a few, like, you know how some do the kiss on the cheek? Wasn't there like weird moments with that before?
Oh, Grigor. That's right. Grigor has done it. I think he kissed Monfils on the mouth, or else he went for it.
Like, it was an awkward. I knew there was an awkward kiss.
That's right. It was Grigor. Yeah, he was like, he went in. Of course, it was Grigor. Of course, it was Grigor. Of course. Why didn't we know this? Yeah, and Monfils was kind of like, dude, we're in public.
Dude. But we're not on Love Island. What are you doing?
I would expect it from Nico and Pierre, because Nico is, whenever they win, he just completely smushes the hell out of Pierre.
How they haven't like made out? Well, Nico's son kissed him.
Yes.
So there was a little, and then he got like really weird.
He like grabbed Pierre and just like slobbered all over him. I'm like, oh, it's like father like son.
It was funny because Pierre got really uncomfortable. It was like, why? What did you do that for?
Yeah. Like
people are gonna get the wrong idea, little kid. Like,
I know, that's what always makes me laugh about the two of them, because it's like Pierre always goes in, you know, he gets the hug, he does the cheek kiss, okay, and then after like 30 seconds, you can see him starting to pull away, like, okay, dude, okay, enough, no, okay, I bet, stop hugging me.
I always get super jealous. Like it's hard watching the French team do Davis Cup, because like you don't realize how lonely you are until you see the French team, and then you're just like, I'm so alone.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
Thank you. I'm glad my pain amuses you.
You don't know true loneliness until you watch the French team. They are just the personification of love.
They're just so affectionate. They just leap into each other's arms. Like seriously, they'll get 1 point right, and like it doesn't even matter in the score, and they'll act like it's like the most romantic thing in the world. And I'm just like, I've never been loved.
Oh my god. Oh well, they are to be admired. I do feel jealous over all that like super close friendship and affection too, because that is kind of a thing in America where it's like, oh, you're not supposed to do that.
No, where everybody's so affectionateless.
Yeah, and it's like
that's not a word. I know that's not a word, by the way.
No, but I know what you mean. But it's like I come from a European family, and so there is a lot of hugs and kisses and stuff, and so I always have to like adapt to other people. Where it's like, oh, I can't do that. I have to awkwardly pat them on the shoulder or something, you know. Like it's against my nature. It's like I'm supposed to be kissing you on the lips right now. It's what we do.
I would love it if you were like, Roger, I mean, I'm supposed to be kissing you on the lips right now, but
yeah, like totally. And you can put your penis on my shoulder anytime.
I'm gonna be honest, I didn't know where you were putting that penis in the beginning of the sentence. Because you were talking about your mouth and kissing, and I was like, I don't know where you're going with this.
Oh, that's right. He's Swiss, so I have to do the triple kiss.
Winning the Triple Crown.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, okay, question. If you were single, would you go on Love Island? Or
No.
a reality show like it?
Absolutely not.
Even if it was like Federer and Stan and like all tennis players.
Oh, you've made it difficult, but still
like
no.
Porno?
No.
No? Okay.
No, because it's like it's televised. And
yeah,
it's like awkward and and it's just like you fear rejection in your daily life enough as it is to have it on that scale. I don't think I would survive that.
I remember Ernest. I don't know. I can't remember if I told this on the show. Ernest one day, we were talking about like getting tickets and stuff, and I was talking about getting a media credential for Latvia or whatever. I was talking about tickets and things, and he goes, just come find me and I'll get you whatever you want. And I was so caught off guard that I did not take advantage of that. Like I should have said something like, oh, like, well. And I kind of regret it. Like, what if that was my shot? Because he was single at the time.
That's right.
And I was like, what if I just completely, like, that was my one shot and I didn't get it.
If only you'd been French. You would have totally taken advantage of that.
Just pounced on him. I thought you'd never ask. Oh, we're still going to talk about Andy Murray.
Yes. Do you want me to go to the next one, or do you want me to stay on this one?
Are we still? It doesn't matter. We can do whatever you like, Valerie. I'm at your mercy. Andy Murray did commentary for the BBC, which us Americans did not get, so we had to rely on Twitter. But one of the things they did was they did a poll of who was more boring, Andy Murray or Tim Henman. Here's the thing, people. How many jokes does Andy Murray need to tell before you realize he is not boring? He is one of the funniest people on tour. He has that deadpan English humor.
Yes.
Which I love. I watch a lot of English programming. I watch a lot of comedy. And he's so funny. Like, you just saw the Love Island joke. Like, he's so incredibly entertaining. And it makes me so mad that people find him boring. But luckily, he did not lose this. Or he did not win most boring. Let's see. I wrote down the Tim Henman got 65% of the vote for most boring, and Andy Murray got 35%. I still think 35% was too high because no offense, Tim Henman, I can't remember a thing you said. I like Tim Henman, but I could not tell you anything. I mean, Andy Murray knows lyrics to Spice Girl songs. Like, Andy Murray is a gem, people.
Yes.
And I'm sick of people saying he's boring. And also, we didn't get a lot of commentary, or, we had to rely on tweets. And one of the tweets I found said, this is a quote from Andy Murray, and he says, I always take notes on my court, and I hate it when the cameras look like they're trying to get in my bag and see what the notes are. They're not notes about the match. Tim Henman's a terrible commentator. It's coming home. Things like that.
I know, I loved that. And I watched this video when I was putting the tab up, and within like 3 seconds I'm like, I love Andy Murray. I don't know, I do. I like listening to him.
He's amazing.
And I would say, I think when he was first doing press conferences when he was younger, he was pretty like dry with not as much humor. I think he's kind of settled more into himself and been more confident and things like that. And I think he's gotten funnier as the years go on. But it's like, it is weird to me that a lot of people don't seem to find him amusing. And it's like he talks for like 3 seconds and I'm like, this is awesome. And
that's the thing, like, he does so much in British comedy as well. He goes on Mock the Week. He does Comedy Relief. He does so many different things that have shown his humor side. And as you touched on, when he first kind of came on the scenes and the first kind of few years in his career, he even admitted that he didn't want to offend people. He didn't want to kind of rock the boat and get, in the headlines. He kind of wanted to go under the radar and be as neutral as possible. And as he got older, I think he kind of went, oh, screw that, I'm going to be me.
Right.
And he started to kind of speak out more and kind of be himself and not worry about what the headlines were going to read the next day. And I love that about him. But I think he's always been funny. I think one of my favorite videos when he first started out, him and Kim, when they were dating, did a video where he was in the car, and I think Judy was also in the car, and they did like a Q&A with him. And they go, what are your pet hates? And he goes, I don't like spiders. I don't really like snakes. And finally Kim caught on, and she goes, no. Pet hates aren't pets that you hate.
Oh, no.
So the thing is sometimes he's unintentionally really funny.
Yeah.
But either way, he's funny, people.
Well, isn't that the meme that everyone sends around too about at Wimbledon about how do you eat your strawberries? And everyone is like with cream, and then you get to Andy Murray and he goes with my fingers.
It's the greatest thing. One of my favorite Andy Murray moments has to be the with my fingers. I quote that a lot.
Oh yeah.
I quote it anytime I get to sneak that in. I can talk about it.
Also, we're talking about Andy commentating, and that was because he wasn't able to play, which still really sucks hardcore, but it was more of a calculated decision because he did play on the grass. And he was kind of happy with where he looked pretty good when I watched him play. But it was like 5 sets when I'm still not 100%. There's always a chance of injury. It's kind of like, yeah, I'm just going to go to the hard court and, and just kind of start there. And it's probably a wise move, I think. So,
I hear he's skipping Cincy, though.
Oh, did he say that? I didn't hear that.
I heard a tweet. God, my senses are shot. I read a tweet that he
Siri told me that.
But I didn't confirm that, and I didn't plan to say that. That just came to me. So, and I thought you would know. So sorry.
No, I'm sorry.
I didn't mean to spring that on you.
We're gonna have to ask Peter because he has all the Andy news.
I wish we could have Peter on standby as a fact checker.
We're talking about Andy Murray. We need you. We need to phone a friend right now.
Phone a friend, yes.
Oh, so where do you hear skipping Cincy, but playing Canada, or he's just gonna show up at the U.S. Open?
I don't know. I just read it looks like Andy Murray's skipping Cincy. That's what I read. That was just the tweet. I didn't look into it because I'm not going to Cincy this year, so I didn't look into it. But I thought my first thought was because I love that tournament. So
yeah.
But we'll have to look into it.
We will look into that, and we won't get back to you because the podcast will be over.
I can try and find it right now, but so
you have to explain this.
Yes, I am presenting a new segment. I watch a lot of MSNBC, and one of my favorite hosts is Ari Melber, and he has a segment every Friday called Fallback Fridays, where him and his guests pick somebody that needs to fall back and cool it with the behavior for that week. So I decided to come up with Foot Fault Fridays. Now, it's not Friday when we record this, but it works for the title, so we're going to stick with it. So Foot Fault Friday, the premise is each one of us picks somebody who put their foot in their mouth recently. And this can be anything from, serious to embarrassing to just funny. And my Foot Fault Friday goes to Marianne Bartoli. And I am a fan of hers. I like her a lot. But she put her foot in her mouth this week when she went on BBC Radio 5 Live, and she was kind of doing, she was talking on the radio about Nick Kyrgios and Gael Monfils. Monfils? Anyway, sorry, I'm American. I'm so sorry. I hate saying anybody's name because I'm the Brett Gilbert here. She called them pathetic and said that they can't grow up. And added, it's a shame because those kids have so much potential. Curios was not happy with that, and he clapped back. So he said, I'm not, I'm going to read it from my notes instead of on screen. He says, "Who are you to judge the way we go about things? Who are you to tell us how to do things when you have no idea what we've been through? Stop assuming you know what's best for others." I was actually kind of surprised by Bartoli's comments because she herself has gone through a lot in the last few years or more than that. And I think using the word pathetic and saying that they can't grow up and all these things, and I understand what she was trying to say, that, but I don't know why people on commentary feel like they have to go all in, like, oh, look how pathetic, I can't believe they can't do this, I don't know, it bothers me that I feel like people go too hard when they think they should. Like, I don't know what makes them think that they have to do that. I feel like you can be encouraging and say, look, I think these guys are really talented, and I wish that they would be able to fulfill their potential or whatever. But the thing with Kyrgios and Monfils, who she called out, have been plagued by injuries.
Yeah.
Both of them.
Yeah.
And especially Kyrgios is still young. He's learning. He's improved a lot. I think, in my eyes, I think he's improved a lot in, his mental strength and just in general compared to what he was when he was younger. And he's gone through a lot in his personal life and through injuries. And so I think anybody who does this whole potential crap needs to fall back and get their foot out of their mouth. And Bartoli tried to explain her comments, as you see on this post, and she says, "All I wish to you, Kyrgios and Monfils, is to fulfill your incredible potentials and win multiple Grand Slams, because both of you can do it." And Kyrgios clapped back, "That's not what you said. Laugh aloud, but cheers."
I think maybe because I actually watched it. I saw there was a clip of her actually recording this. Yeah, and it was a really weird thing because it was like it was her and J Mac and a couple other people, and they had the big headsets on, and they were like sitting at like picnic tables and stuff, and just walking around and talking and doing this radio show. It was like such a bizarre thing because you're kind of used to seeing them like in a booth or in a studio or something, and this was just like this casual thing. So they were kind of, maybe I think she might have felt more like she was just talking to people and not thinking about being on a radio show, for one thing. And I'm wondering if pathetic, maybe that might be a French English thing where she might have more met sad, as in,
like it's sad that they couldn't.
Yeah, that I'm kind of just, it's kind of disappointed that they're not reaching their potential or whatever. Not that they're like, oh, they're so disgusting and pathetic. Like, it might not have that same weight. I mean, I'm not sure. My French followers.
No, I agree. I totally get the language barrier and how it could come across differently than it does to English speakers.
Yeah, but the other thing is that this was kind of, I think sometimes people forget, the glass houses thing. It's kind of like you won one slam, which some people might consider kind of a fluke, the way, the draw fell apart and that kind of thing. And you won a slam and then you retired. So it's kind of odd to be lecturing people on like their work ethic and why can't they win a bunch of slams, and that's what Kyrgios, at that little jab about what's best for others when you think you've had a little success. And so it's like the whole thing about this whole thing was just a mess. It was kind of like she went overboard, and then Kyrgios really had the best reaction to it in press because he was kind of like, oh, I don't know what she said, and it's not that big of a deal, and I'm doing the best I can or whatever. And he kind of just laughed it off. And honestly, it probably kind of would have ended there. But then he goes and writes this big long thing, and at the very end of it goes, but we don't care what you have to say. Well, you kind of maybe look like you do since you wrote out this whole paragraph. So it's like sometimes I almost felt myself feeling like Bartoli because I'm going, can't you just once just let it go? but I understand his frustration too, because I've spoken about Kyrgios before, that people really just pile on. It's like sometimes it's like,
but that's the thing I think with Kyrgios is people pile on him so much, and I think at the end of the day and I think also it's kind of offensive when you get it from other players. Right. Regardless if they're former players or, because you're kind of all in this together in a way. You all kind of have this kind of mutual understanding of the struggles and sacrifices you all make. The traveling and everything isn't easy. And some people handle it better than others. And like I said, there's injuries. There's so many factors that go into a career. Not everyone is going to have the same path or the same results. It's just not realistic.
Right.
So I think it is insulting when someone kind of seems to go real all into you. Like, why can't they do this? They can't grow up, blah, 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 blah. And I think it's just kind of like, who the hell are you? And so I think he probably thought about it for a while and it festered and he needed to be like, hey, who the hell are you?
Right.
Who are you to say that to me? We should be in this together. You should have our backs. Like, one of the things that I love about James Blake's commentary a lot of times is he's able to kind of be that sympathetic ear. He relates to these players in a way that a lot of the commentators who, although they were tennis players, they played in a different era. So tennis was a little bit different for them. Where James kind of has a more modern day take on what the struggles that they go through and kind of relate to them a little more and can rely that to the fans.
Right. Yeah. And I know that I think Andy Murray talked about that at one point too, about that some of these commentators were, like ranked in the top 200, when they were playing. Oh. And he said that, it's just like they don't know what it's like playing on center court every match and having, 10,000 people watching your every move and, being written about in like, 70 different articles and stuff. And it's like, and he didn't say it in an insulting way. It was just like, you haven't experienced this. So it's kind of easy for you to be real judgy about it when it's something that you haven't been through. And the thing with Nick to me too is really kind of reminds me of the Ernie thing, where they, from the very beginning, branded him as, oh, he's a rich, spoiled kid and he doesn't have any work ethic and blah, blah, blah. And I hated that it was just like no one ever bothered to look into if that was still true. 2 years along, 4 years along, 6 years along, it was just like, that's what's written in the notes, and we're going to talk again about Ernie's a spoiled brat or whatever. And I feel like that's what they do with Kyrgios. It was like, when I actually saw him in a press conference, it's so weird how it's when you're in the room, it's like a different vibe where you see the person as a human being. Who has like layers, and you see how they like react emotionally to things or something. You understand it a little bit more. It's like really easy to judge people based on like a few clips or like what you see on the court, or you kind of like create these personalities for these people, but you don't really know. And so it's kind of like you say, where it's like you can maybe make some of these points without like really just going full on like these people are losers and need to grow up. It's kind of like
you can criticize a player, but I don't know. I feel like people don't know how to criticize a player and say, hey, he can be a better player if he worked on his backhand or tweak this in his game, and you can actually break down and be intelligent about it.
Right.
Instead of just insulting who they are.
Right.
And acting like this is just a game to them. Because here's the thing. Some people might act like they don't care. That doesn't actually mean they don't. That just means maybe that's how they process what's going on.
Right.
That might be how they stay sane. Because if they worry about it, it'll eat them alive. And the thing is tennis is such an individual sport. You have so many personalities and backgrounds, and I feel like people expect these players to be like a machine, that each of them are going to have the same path. each of them is going to, rise up. But not everybody can win.
Right.
At the end of the day, not everyone can win. So if you have 5 players that you think can win a Grand Slam and that, that they're going to rise to the top, only one of them's going to win at the end of the day. They can't all win. They can't all have the same career, and I feel like people go a little too harsh. But then again, I'm an Ernest fan, and he's had more lows than highs, and I still support him, and I still go, you know what? The way I see it is he goes into a match, and I think he can win whatever match he goes into. But I don't put it on him where if he doesn't, I get all bent out of shape or I screw him. He's not fulfilling his potential. It's their life. And as long as they're happy and they work hard and they try, that's all you can ask for.
Right. I totally agree. Well said.
Thank you.
And now we're going to go on to someone that we're going to talk about what a jerk he is.
Well, our podcast is with many tones. So
this is about Jack Sock, who I actually have liked in the past. And
you jump ship now.
Well, I'm on the fence. It was interesting because after these latest events, I actually ended up talking with a lot of people on Twitter who felt exactly the same way I did, because you try to give people the benefit of the doubt over and over again, and then after a while it's kind of like, I hope things turn around for you, but I can't really defend you to anyone anymore. And that's kind of where Jack is at right now. And it's fairly probably easy to explain. He's on a horrendous losing streak. He won the Paris Masters and got to the semis at the World Tour Finals. It was like something he wasn't even thinking about getting to the World Tour Finals. And it's like, oh, you won a Masters and now here you are in the top 8. And it's probably maybe some of the pressure from that. He's had a horrific 2018. But the way that he's dealt with it is that pretty much every tournament, there's some story about him lashing out at an umpire and telling them that they're atrocious and he's never seen worse umpiring and he's really sarcastic, kind of acting like he's won 12 slams, kind of an ego kind of a thing, which then comes off like even more ridiculous, But this latest one here that I have is about Sock was playing Berrettini and truly felt that Berrettini's coach was saying something to him or trying to distract him or whatever while he was playing. And I think he got into it with him at one point and the umpire had to kind of stop that. But then when he went, he gave this like really half-ass handshake to Berrettini at net and then said, "Your coach is a piece of shit, by the way." Which is just, and Berrettini was kind of like stunned, which I've seen a lot of matches a lot of times where the player genuinely doesn't seem to know that people in their camp are saying or doing stuff. I've seen players go and tell their camp to shut up, so it's like they're not necessarily responsible for the people on their team. Yeah. Kind of like when Mirko was heckling Stan at the World Tour Finals, I don't think Roger put her up to that, it's kind of like, and so it's like, if it was true and this guy was harassing him, that it isn't right, but it's kind of like, this isn't the best way to handle that. And it's like, not a huge deal, but I said that this is kind of actually in a way, one of the more minor things. Some of the treatment of the umpires has been just really horrendous. And I said, it's for people that like him, it's been tough to watch because he just kind of seems to be imploding because he, has these terrible outbursts and then he loses yet another match, so yeah. It's kind of like, I'm feeling like Marion Bartoli, where it's like, this is so disappointing. I know you can do better, I feel you, Marion,
Oh, I feel like you related a little too much to that last segment.
Well, it's so funny because originally I was like, oh my God, why is she saying this stuff that's so ridiculous? And then like the more you start delving into it, you're like, well, it's like if you do get emotionally invested in players, sometimes you do overreact because it's like, oh, I like you so much. Why are you screwing this up?
Yeah.
So I think that's some of the mentality, but Jack actually ended up winning Wimbledon doubles again.
Yes,
with
my
my
friend.
yeah, it's like the most horrible thing. It's like the first slam that he won without Bob, and they were both trying to get to be the oldest, top doubles players, and like Mike ended up there by himself. It's kind of like a rough thing. So it's like you're happy because you just won Wimbledon, but on the other hand, it's like my brother's home watching this on TV,
Yeah.
But doubles is so good for Jack because that's usually when his best side comes out.
He does really well in doubles.
Yeah, he's always the power half, and then the other guy then has room to do other things because Jack's got he can hit this like searing forehand, and then you've got time to do what you need to do. It's like he's a good person to pair with, and he enjoys it. Like that's usually when Jack has this like fun-loving side where he kind of laughs at errors and apologizes to his partner and stuff, and he just has a good time out there, and that's when he plays his best tennis. So it's kind of like there were a lot of people that were saying it's like when he won this, they're like, well, maybe this is going to turn his year around. It's like there's like a lot of people pulling for him. It's like because obviously it's like how great are you going to feel if every time you go out there you lose in the first round or whatever. He did do really awesome in the doubles, and I said it's like we can hope that maybe that'll be a turning point, but it's like if things are still going south, just stop yelling at umpires, please.
You hold up a sign. If it all goes south, just stop yelling at umpires.
Just stop yelling at umpires. It's one of our favorite things in the movie Liar Liar with Jim Carrey, where he has to tell the truth, and he's a lawyer, and his client who's constantly in prison for robbery is calling again for help, and he just picks up the phone and goes, "Stop robbing people." And it's like this same thing where it's like it seems so simple. It's like you could solve so many of your problems if you just stop doing this one thing.
Oh my gosh. And it's funny because when I said, do anything else, it reminded me of something that I forgot to say in the Gulbis segment where before one of his matches, the umpire, give a speech of, don't damage the court with your racket. If you throw down your racket, I'm going to give you a warning. But he definitely looked at Ernest when he said it. And it made me laugh so hard because I can't remember who he was playing at the time of this match, but he definitely looked at Ernest when he said that. And Ernest was good. He didn't drop his racket, but it was very funny. Like he knew who he was dealing with. Like I'm telling both of you, but I'm definitely looking at you.
Yeah, they do that a lot of times when they talk about the, no cursing, stay away from the microphones and stuff like that. And then they'll always look pointedly at one of the players.
Yeah, like I know you.
Oh, here, this one's for you too.
Okay, so it is Comic-Con weekend. So I thought, we gotta have a little cosplay. This is Chris, who you might know as Strawberry Man. He dressed up as a huge strawberry and had a bottle of cream. And he dresses up every year, but I feel like he's best known for Strawberry Man.
Yeah.
So this year he went as the men's singles trophy, and he makes all of his costumes. And this costume, the strawberries and cream is still my favorite, but this costume, what I liked about it is the detail.
Yes.
His jacket had all the names of the previous winners, and everything was just meticulous. Like, it was just really beautifully done. And so he walked around Wimbledon, and there's video of him, where old ladies stop him and take photos with him, and I think it's really fun and playful. And the next thing that we can go to the next, or if you want to talk about, I'm talking about all of this in general, so we can talk about all this in general. And then we had this at the Naomi Osaka match where guys dressed as the Teletubbies. Which I immediately loved because I used to watch Teletubbies. But it did seem a little odd at a tennis match. The only connection I get for Naomi and Teletubbies is when she was a kid. There's a picture of her as a child where she has a Teletubbies t-shirt on. And we did an interview with her for Outside the Ball where she talked about how she used to like Teletubbies as a kid. That's the only connection I can gather, and that's like a leap. Like, to see a photo of her as a kid and then, oh, she has a Teletubby shirt, let's dress up as the Teletubbies. Now, I don't know if that was their logic. I don't know why they dressed up as the Teletubbies. But that just is the only connection I can make between the two costumes. But I'm a nerd. I love costumes. I love cosplay. And I always wanted there to be more of that in tennis, which is hard to cosplay as tennis players because they all kind of look the same. Right. You got, like, little kids will dress up as Rafa, which is always super cute. And last year's Wimbledon, there were two guys dressed as McEnroe and Bjorn Borg. And that was a lot of fun. So I think if you can come up with these creative ideas to make it tennis related and fun, and it's not distracting to the players, of course, I really encourage that because I think people like stop and take pictures with you, and I just think it's funny and fun and humorous. So I had to highlight that on Comic-Con weekend, and I decided. Because of the Teletubbies and because of Trophy Man, I've decided to dub Wimbledon the Comic-Con of Grand Slams, which also makes sense because although there's a lot of celebrities, a lot of celebrities show up at Grand Slams, but you got a lot of Brits at Wimbledon, like the Harry Potter cast, like Emma and gosh, who else was I just blanked. Eddie Redmayne.
I was just gonna say, I'm like the Fantastic Beasts guy.
Eddie Redmayne, Maggie Smith, Emma Watson. You have all of them, and then you have Marvel with Tom Hiddleston, and who plays Loki in the Avengers, and Tom Holland. Is that what his name is?
Yes.
I think the guy that plays Spider-Man, right?
Yes, Tom Holland, which always confuses me because there's also a British actor named Tom Hollander, and then I always, when I see the names, I'm like, wait, which one is it?
Yeah, so you have like Marvel and Harry Potter and people cosplaying the trophy. So I have dubbed Wimbledon the Comic-Con of tennis.
and here you go. And here's the spoil sport in me where I'm going, yes. I wouldn't want to be sitting behind these people.
Well, yeah, I'm all for it as long as it doesn't really disrupt people. And then Trophy Man, you have the hat and stuff. So as long as it's fun and not a total nuisance.
Yeah, well, a Trophy Man is usually sitting over on the corner.
Yeah,
so he's disturbing less people, but it was hilarious because some people had some screen caps from the matches, and it's like some intense forehand shot or something, and then there's the trophy guy in focus, in the background, and it just looks so absurd because no one else around him is dressed in any kind of costume, and it's just what the hell is that? But I agree with you. I that costume was pretty impressive, especially with the pineapple on top and all that. That was pretty.
And he
amazing.
makes them And I mean, he had his nails painted gold, and he had gold lipstick.
Yes.
And he committed, man. He always does. He always does. But yeah, I love, my favorite though is the strawberry, because it is funny when you watch a match and all of a sudden there's a giant strawberry in the corner of the court just sipping on cream, and he's a lot of fun, and his name's Chris, and he's American actually, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I think he lives in America. I'm not sure if he's American, but I think he lives in America. But yeah, his name is Chris, and I just think it's fun. But I'm very whimsical, as you all know.
Yes.
So any opportunity for whimsy, I'm there.
So speaking of whimsy, Here's Ernest nearly getting his head taken off. And you guys can all tell me, because I don't remember which match this was. I was gonna guess Zverev because of the velocity of the ball, but I honestly don't remember when it was. But I just thought this was kind of a great thing of Ernie doing his Matrix move.
Roger Federer got his balls out again. Got to dodge them in the locker room.
And I was just so excited to see him back.
Yes.
That I was and he was playing so well that I was actually dreaming of like he could get to the final. Like, this is possible.
That's what my mom said. My mom turned to me. She's like, "What if Ernest wins Wimbledon?" And I'm like, I mean, I like I said, I think he can win every match he went through. But I'm going to be honest. That Zverev match surprised me. Because Zverev is obviously, a top player right now, and he's playing well. And I think Ernest can win any match he goes into, but I was honestly surprised by that result.
Yeah, see, and it's funny because I was more surprised by his first round loss. Not loss, that he didn't lose it because it was 5 sets. And that's
I was going to say he didn't lose first round, but
yeah, we can show this.
Oh, yes.
This is who he was playing. This is Jay Clark, a British player, and Ernie went to the wrong bench and actually took Jay's water.
And then he just put it down. Did he drink out of it?
Well, it was hard to tell. I think he was opening it, and he gave it to him. It was like, "Oh, sorry, man. Here's your water."
And I mean, of course, the little booty tap.
I love that, especially Jay's like a 19-year-old player. He's kind of new on the scene, and I thought that was so funny. They just walked over and just taps Ernie on the ass.
I mean, I appreciate a dude making bold moves. Yeah. And I mean, come on, let's be real. Like, who doesn't want to tap that booty? I mean, who hasn't thought about it? I mean, give it a little love tap,
Yes.
Sorry.
I think Ernie's ass is underrated, I think. He's
not by me.
He's got that great combination of, because to me, it's like, I like big butts, and I cannot lie.
Oh, yeah, I'm all about it.
I like that their tennis butts in particular, a lot of the guys have, it's muscular, but there's still bounce to it. And that's what I like. There's bounce.
Bounce. So I'm going on Ralphio in Parks and Rec, where there's a scene where he's going bounce, 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 bounce.
So but he played 5 sets against Jay, and I remember, I think I even tweeted out at like going into the 5th set where I was like, Jay has a little more finesse to his game, and they were like super evenly matched, and I'm going, I think Jay might end up taking this because, he's got just that kind of like little bit extra to his game. But of course, Ernie's like super powerful and super big serve. And then Ernie was just like, nope, I'm winning this match. And then I'm going to win the next one. And then I'm going to take out Zverev. And it was like, hot damn.
Yeah, man, that's a Zverev match. Like, that got me hyped. I was just like, this is amazing.
Yeah, and I thought he could do it because really it was more of like a similar type. You've got the 2 big guns, big serve, big forehand.
They were super level.
Yeah, but Ernie had that killer drop shot, which was so awesome.
Yeah, he likes his drop shot.
Yeah, Benoit must be loving it too. But JD always goes, Benoit put down his hamburger to watch that. Which those of you who know Benoit know how much Benoit loves food.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
But yeah, I was pumped. I mean, especially after that Zverev match, I'm like, oh my god, because I was banking on Nishikori. He's going to retire at some point, So it's like we can always hope it'll be during Ernie's match, and then poor Ernie is the one that got hurt, which just. Oh.
I know. I think he could have. Getting hurt, that really it all went downhill like really fast. But I think if he didn't get hurt, I mean, possibly he was falling a lot, and I mean, they all fall a lot, but yeah, he was falling a lot.
Yeah, and I know in a press conference that he said that he was mad about that he thought that he should have done better in that match, and he's like, and then obviously I fell, and then that wasn't good, but he felt like, Nishikori was playing better than him, and so I mean, he did say it wasn't just like, oh, I lost because I fell. He'd wanted to do more there, and he thought he could, he thought he could have won it, which I thought so too.
Yeah, no, I thought so too. I mean, Nishikori, even before he fell, had raised his level, and Ernest had dropped off. But Ernest, I think, could have gained more ground had he not fallen on the ground.
Yeah, yes. Well, yeah, because Ernie is a little bit of a roller coaster player. It's like you kind of have to survive the lulls, and then he'll figure it out again.
He's likely going to lose one set 6-0 at some point. And then come back. Like, there's always one set where you're just like, all right, this ain't it.
Yeah, just cancel.
We're gonna be here a while. Yeah, just cancel. There's always one that you're just like, just forget it. It's not gonna happen this set. It's a throwaway. I don't know why he does that, but he does it frequently. I love him to death, but my gosh. And it was funny. I was talking to somebody during his match, and she was in Australia, and it was like 3 a.m. and it was only like the third set, and I'm like, yeah, you're in for it. Like, you're not sleeping. It's Ernest,
right?
He's not gonna wrap it up quick. He takes his time.
Oh,
low and slow.
It's not a bad thing.
Damn it, Courtney! He's a married man. Stop it. Behave yourself.
Oh, that makes no difference to me.
Well, you're married.
It just works. We're both married.
Oh, you're married. It's all good.
It's all good. So, we go from butt slapping Jay to Jay played doubles with Harriet Dart, who is somebody that I saw earlier in the grass season, was really intrigued by her. She took care of the Pliskova sisters pretty good because she beat Christina in Eastbourne, and then she took a set off Karolina Pliskova at Wimbledon. So she's got an interesting game. She catches your eye right away, and we got to see more of that in the mixed doubles. These two just have fantastic chemistry in their tennis, but then it's like, I ship it. I mean, look at these pictures. I look at how he looks at her, and then if you kind of look down at this one down here where they're holding hands, that's the doubles players always do the kind of like the hand slap thing. Well, they would do that, but then they would rub hands for an extra 3 seconds.
Yeah, it looks like they're just walking through the park.
Yeah, it was just so sweet. And there was an interview with them that one of the British tennis Twitter accounts put out, where they asked them, they said, well, who's in charge when you play the match? And he said, oh, definitely her.
I like that in a man.
Yeah, and she's 21 and he's 19, and it's kind of like he just thinks the world of her. And it was so awesome because a lot of mixed doubles, it's like the players have a good time or whatever, but a lot of times the guy runs in front of the girl because he thinks she's not going to make the shot, and it's like you get transported back to high school gym class. It's just kind of like, ugh.
I hated that.
Yeah, but
way to give me flashbacks. Jeez.
I know, it's just so disturbing. But
let's go back to Ernest's ass some more.
But it was like, every time she would make some awesome play, which was frequently, he would just gaze at her like, you're awesome. You're just so great. And I just loved it. They were they just had a good time, and they played awesome tennis, and they made it all the way to the semifinals. And everyone was really angry because it was Jamie Murray and Azarenka they had to play them in the semifinals when everybody would have loved that to have been the final. Because the British people British people came out for doubles. They were like, if there were Brits playing, they're like, we're there.
It's coming home.
It's coming home.
I'm so sorry. I feel like any British person that's watching this just burst into tears. I'm so sorry. I was pulling for you. It's funny. I didn't really watch much of the World Cup, and I wasn't. I used to watch the World Cup kind of when Spain won, but I haven't really been into it. And I got into it because I started watching The Last Leg, and Josh Whittaker, comedian, was really into it. And I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna get into it. And everybody at Wimbledon, was super into it. And then it didn't come home.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
yeah.
I'm sorry, English people. I'm not really English, but I pretend to be.
Yes. Yeah, there was a lot of World Cup stuff. It was like Twitter was like so, like, I didn't know what was going on a lot of times because people were tweeting, like scores and like information and stuff, and a lot of times people do stuff out of context. And you're like, wait, what the hell are they talking about? What? Oh, it's World Cup stuff. Okay, never mind. I don't need to pay attention. And a lot of times it would be like the tennis would end and they would immediately, it was like everybody just suddenly went, okay, now we can tweet about World Cup stuff. The tennis is over for the day.
Well, in that Federer match, someone yelled out something like, hurry up, I gotta watch the football.
Yes.
And it made me laugh so hard because you gotta feel for him. Because it's a huge moment in sports, and they were like, we love you, but come on, clock's ticking here. Yeah. And also there was a moment where Andy Murray was in a press conference, and there were cheers outside because people were watching the game, and he's like, should we go watch it? And they were like, no, you gotta sit here and do press. And he was like, all right, fine. Like, I can't believe I'm missing the game.
Yeah, they had a lot of players were doing Instagram stuff like from the locker room, and it was like, here's when England won, and people were like hugging and jumping around, but then like half the room was like really pissed because it's like depends on which team they were going for, but yeah, they were really worried about if England was going to be in the final and how that was going to.
Oh yeah, with Wimbledon and
with the Wimbledon final, and I had read something where they said they were actually afraid that the people working the event were going to like leave their posts. I was like, damn.
No, it was a pretty big deal if England would. Yeah, it's been a long time since. Yeah, so that was a big deal, and that was going to be a problem. I wouldn't be surprised if. I wonder how many people would have left. Like, who would have picked tennis and who would have picked the World Cup?
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I was kind of hoping that it wouldn't really make a difference, because it's kind of like, why would you bother showing up to the tennis if you didn't care about it, kind of a thing. I don't know. I'm glad we didn't have to answer that question.
Yeah, me too. But science, I'm curious.
Science,
I'm curious. All right. So what's Steph up to this time?
Steph was bringing some more showmanship to Wimbledon, and I'm personally I'm hating on Jared Donaldson lately too. So
oh no,
I was personally pleased about this as well.
I'm actually kind of happy about this because you're usually like very pro-American and I'm not.
Yeah, well, it's like I've never been like a huge Donaldson fan, but he's got this thing now where it's like, oh, things aren't going well, I'm going to call an injury timeout. And I usually try to give people the benefit of the doubt, but it was like, I was kind of mad about this, that it really did throw Steph off, because obviously you can see by the scoreline, Steph was on his way to winning this, and then all of a sudden it was like, what the hell happened? Because he got distracted by all the drama. And I usually try to give players the benefit of the doubt, like, okay, maybe you did twist your knee, or you've got a horrendous blister or whatever. But it was like felt like I was remembering being mad about this before, and I went back and looked at my tweets, and it was like just like a month beforehand he'd done the same thing in a different match, and it was like, and the thing is like, people that have an injury timeout, and then when they come back, you can see how crappy they're playing because they're still injured, and sometimes they might work out of it eventually or whatever. But Donaldson's had like 2 instances now where he has an injury timeout and then comes out and plays like a gazelle, and it's like, okay.
That medication worked real fast.
Yeah, it was like within 30 seconds. Okay, I almost believe that. So So I was really, I mean, I love Steph anyway, obviously, but I was really excited when this is how he got the break point.
Sliding into them DMs. Just can I say, I love the dives. That's my favorite thing about grass.
Yeah, it's...
I mean, I don't like when they do it because I don't want them to get hurt, but I love the look of it. So I get really excited when they do decide to do it.
Yeah, and I like was especially a little worried about Steph because he's so tall and has all these long limbs, and it's like when I just think about, you know, the bigger they are, the harder they fall kind of thing. It's like, oh my God, he's gonna break something. But he seems to be pretty good at, you know, like it's like a controlled fall, I think, in some cases. So it's like,
yeah, like a prat fall.
Yeah. Because it's like, you notice he like turn, you know, he rolls right away.
He rolls into it. Yeah, he knows how to fall correctly.
Yeah. So
do you think they practice that?
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised. The only thing was I was worried he hit his head. It was just like, that's not good.
But I do want to, like, can you imagine going to a practice court while tennis players are practicing falling on grass?
I wouldn't be surprised because I saw practice pictures of Steph and he was on the ground a lot of the time. So,
well, that's
be the
not
one that conclusive.
Doesn't.
Oh no! Well, I mean, like he was doing diving shots in practice. It wasn't just him taking a nap on the grass.
I wonder, like, if he's just sitting on the ground, he probably just fell down. Like, you can't say he meant to fall down. That's a generous thing. Oh no, he meant to do that.
Oh, yeah, he meant to do that. It was planned. He's practiced. That would be like a great excuse. Why did he fall down practicing?
I do think that Wimbledon is the Comic-Con of Grand Slams, but also the slapstick of Grand Slams, because it is like they're playing on banana peels.
Yes, and that what I loved about this too is I had this point where he got the break point, and Chris Otto tweeted that asked Stefanos about that amazing dive in set 5 of his win today over Jared Donaldson. His answer: the dive was everything.
He sounds like us. It was everything.
It was everything. I was like, that is so awesome. And then this was against Isner. But sadly, he didn't win this match because it's freaking Isner on grass and it comes down to a couple points. And Steph had some chances, but this is sometimes where his youth comes out.
That wasn't as graceful as the other one.
No, because this was more desperation, I think.
Yeah, he more just threw himself into that shot and hoped it worked.
Yeah. So that was what this match was like he actually was like had a couple small margin ahead a couple times and then hit a couple errors and then it was gone. So it's like this was definitely a learning experience, but I am super excited about him. It wasn't that long ago that I was like, he's got potential, but he's super wild. He was like that one-handed backhand was like, he'd hit stuff like 25 feet out or it would be an amazing winner. It was like super off the charts kind of a thing. And I was expecting like a few years he'll be on his way kind of a thing, maybe. And then like within a year, he started playing this like phenomenal tennis and had a lot more control and was thinking more out there about his shots and stuff. I was like, holy shit. I guess he wants to be something now. He's
why wait, Valerie? What's wrong with you?
Yeah, no kidding. It's like what's with this slow development crap. I'm on my way. I'm a heartthrob. I gotta capitalize on my fantastic looks. And I'm here for it. And speaking of capitalizing, I love this because he is incredibly cute, and we hope he is of age while we're saying this, but he looks like he is. It kind of looks like, so what are you doing later? Oh, you're so sweet, but no, I don't think that's a good idea. But I believe they're asking they'll carry your bags off for you because that is kind of a Wimbledon tradition. A lot of times someone will carry your bags for you. So I think that's what this was actually about. But it's like, he looks so like, how you doing? You know?
Hey, have you seen Love Island?
But yes, I have actually. It's one of my favorite shows.
I don't know all the characters. Like, I'll be your this person.
Yeah, right.
Like, anybody who watches Love Island can fill in that blank for me.
There you go. This is what we're just gonna keep watching this over and over and like just keep doing different scenarios.
But that's the thing. Like, it's a meme. Like, it is such a meme in itself that you can just sit here and do like, hey girl.
Hey girl, you gotta get the hey girl in there.
Hey girl.
Look at them, they're so cute. Well, and that's when I think I tweeted this out with "say yes," because I am just all about sex with young men. That's all about.
Now I know why you had the disclaimer. I hope he is of age. Because I was taking it all like sweet, like, hey girl, like, you know, and you're just like pure sex.
Let's go to the locker
Take
room.
our love, Valerie.
I hear Federer's in the locker room.
I'm a Hallmark girl, HBO After Dark.
Skinamax.
Yeah.
Oh, this was another amusing.
Speaking of flirtation.
This was just so hilarious to me because not only did I love her reaction, but I love it when he gives it to her. He's kind of like, yeah, here you go. And he just like, it's like a drive-by. He just
like, he didn't go hello or, you know, like, yeah. And she's probably like, oh, does he want me to put it in the wash?
That's what
it's his Nan on the side of the court. Like, here, Nan, I got some laundry.
I know. And I was thinking, she's going, oh, these are expensive. I've seen them in the gift shop. So this is not a cheap towel. Thank you, kind sir. And it was just so funny. It was like he just felt so awkward about it. Like, I'm going to do this. And then he got halfway there and went, ooh, maybe I shouldn't do this. It's weird.
We've all been there. We've all been there where we've like, we're going to do it. And then halfway there, you're like, oh shit. Okay. All right, here we go. I'm going to run away. Yeah, we've all been there.
So we love you, Adrian. You made this lady's day because it's. I just love it too because you could like interpret her reaction so many different ways. Because it also could be like, ooh,
this young man gave me his towel.
Ooh, it's all sweaty. Oh, but I said I was just thinking about how my grandmother would be like. It's like, ooh, I could sell this.
My grandmother unfortunately passed away before I went to my first tournament, but she knew I was going to my first tournament before she died, and I was going to meet Ernest, and I was like, what should I say? What should I say? And one day she came into the room all excited, and she was like, I know what you should say to Ernest. And I go, what? And she goes, I like the way your butt moves when you play tennis. And she died before I met him, and I always said that if I ever see him again, I'm going to say that to him because I haven't yet. In honor of her. So if I ever get a chance, I will say it to him next time I see him. But yeah, so I think my grandmother would fit in with the show.
I think so.
She thought Marat Safin was sexy.
Oh, there you go.
So,
that is awesome.
Those grandmas, you watch out for them.
That's right. Oh, I was so happy about this because Wimbledon always had, it was the champions ball or something like that. And that was always the dance between the two winners. And then it was last year for sure. But then I think it might be a couple of years where they did away with it. And it was like, we're not going to do that anymore. Nobody dances or wants to dance or whatever. And so when I saw this GIF, I was like, this is so awesome. And I was like, so excited. I love Angie. So I was so excited that she won this tournament. she played so amazing the whole time. My husband loves her too, so we were like both like euphoric that she won.
Aww.
And this is, and we talked about this in the pre-show.
Yeah.
That it probably wasn't just this tournament, but I've been kind of having some feelings for Djokovic that are positive.
Breaking freaking news.
And it was this weird thing because I've been mad at Rafa for a while, so I didn't want him to win, so I had to root for Nole.
Look at you! Look at you!
Which all my Rafa fans just probably unfollowed me now because they're usually mad at me anyway for tweeting about Roger too much. But
also, like Novak fans and haters, like those are some like people have really strong feelings about Novak. So some of our followers are probably like, "Yay, Valerie's on board," and the other just threw their computer out the window.
Yeah. Well, you know what the thing about Nole is I have pretty much always liked Nole off the court. Like, I find him charming and funny, and he has like great with sarcasm. I love his matches with Federer, especially from a few years ago when they were both kind of peaking. They had these amazing matches that were just like shots you couldn't believe, and there was so much like sexual hate between them. It was just, I just loved it. Because it was like they super admired and respected each other, but also loathed each other at the same time, and they gave the matches this like special flavor. I just really enjoyed it, and I don't know. I remember I'm pretty sure it was Andreen said a couple of years ago that Nole was going to have like a comeback story, and that people were going to find out that they missed him and we're going to start saying positive stuff about him. And everybody was like, "Oh, that's never going to happen. We're Fed fans. We don't like Nole." And it's like, nope, kind of like a Nole. But I said it's like it wasn't that crazy of a transition for me because it's not like I, was like crazy hating him. I just a lot of there are certain players where it's like you like them and you want to like them, and then they do shit on court that you're like, okay, now you've pissed me off again. So it's like some of his anger and antics and things like that have kind of gotten on my nerves over the years, and then that usually like turns me off of them again. But I was thinking about this. I'm going, a lot of people are like really entrenched in who they like in tennis, and I find my stuff kind of goes in waves, where it's like it depends on how that person is playing, how they're acting, how they're it's kind of like life. It's like, sometimes you get along with some friends better, and then like maybe for like 6 months you don't get along that great, and it's the same. I'm always kind of like stunned when people like are so 100% supportive of a player no matter what that player is doing. They justify whatever stupid or bad thing that they do, and like are overly effusive over minor good things that they do. It's like I've never kind of understood that. Like,
what's funny is I forgot to write this down, so I forgot about it. Somebody trashed Gulbis at one point, like on a tweet. Like someone said Gulbis is shit, and a Gulbis fan responded. And normally, if someone says your player is shit, what do you say? He's not shit. He got, you say a result or you attack them.
Right.
This person wrote, "Shit is good for trees." And like, her point was that you may think he may be shit, but shit is useful. And I wish I wrote it down, and I wish I didn't want to call her out by name because I didn't want it to seem like I was making fun of her. That was actually the most brilliant response I've ever heard in my life because it was the most unexpected.
Yeah.
Like, I expected her to be like, "He's not shit," and instead she went, "Shit is good for trees." Like, joke's on you.
That's right. Right.
Yeah, so that made me laugh really hard.
But it is true. It's like a lot of times it's like people will yell at you about the player that you like as if it's stuff that you don't know. And it's like, I know that my player is volatile or emotional or has really up and down results. It's like, this is not a shock to me. You don't need to tell me this. But I still like them. It's like, I don't need the players that I like to be perfect. And it's, in fact, sometimes I just get frustrated because I'm like, why do I only like the imperfect players? It's like, pretty much, if I tell you who I want to win any tournament, usually that's who you should bet against, because it's like all the people I don't like that much are the people who win like tons of tournaments. So it's like, I don't know, maybe I identify more with the struggle, so those are the people that I end up rooting for. Sometimes they break through.
I'm drawn to emotion and expressive people.
Yeah.
And creative people. And you know, I grew up wanting to be in the acting and film and television world. And I didn't like sports for the longest time. And when I started to get into sports, I was always drawn to the ones that were the most animated and showed their emotion and was humorous and just, you know, crazy.
Yeah.
Very theatrical. Always something.
Yeah. And it's funny because I'm just thinking about when it's like, I think about like what kind of music I like, and more than a genre per se, it's like, I like music that makes me have a response. Like I either feel like happy or sad or moved, or I want to dance, or, you know, it's like, it has to do something for me. And that's kind of like how I feel about tennis players. It's like, it's not all the same, because a lot of times people seem to like all similar type players. And I like people sometimes who are kind of cool and calm, like Federer, but then I like people who are like super volatile and crazy, like Benoit, and, you know, but it's, they have to move me in some way. So it's like, are they super creative, or is there, like Ernie's tennis I was just overwhelmed by how explosive his tennis was. It was just like, he hit so big, and it was like with his full body, and he was like so passionate in it, you know, the crazy eye going, hair flying. He used to like get so much going back and forth for shots that his racket would like hit the ground while he was running. I mean, it was just like this, we're just drawn in. And that was like a huge tangent just from dancing, but
you danced around. You danced around the topic.
It's getting late. I think we're heading into hour 3 here, so we're getting into insta goodness.
Yes, and this is where usually a lot of the weirdness happens. Which is funny because we've already had like penises out and everything, and this is the section where we're like, this is where it gets weird, folks.
This is where it gets weird, and on that note,
oh my god! Here's the thing: I did not see this, and Valerie sent this to me. I don't even want to talk about it. Like, it just
this, and I love James's caption. What the absolute fuck? Because it's like, it's actually, it's like creepy and funny and weird simultaneously, because I mean, ice bath pictures have become like the big thing, and, you know, people find them erotic, even though it's kind of insane in a way, because they're like, these guys are like literally freezing their nuts off, and we're going, ooh, this is so sexy.
Yeah, but it's funny because on this show we have said there needs to be more ice bath pictures. There needs to be more ice bath pictures. And then you sent this to me and you're like, you know what? We're good. We're good. We don't need it. Here's the thing that's really kind of creepy about this photo. He looks like he's a toddler in a bucket. Like, I don't know if you've seen Deadpool 2.
Yeah.
But he looks like he has little baby legs. And it's really creepy.
Well, that's what, like, he is actually in a in a garbage can.
Yeah.
Which is, frighteningly, if you search ice baths on Google, you will get a lot of weird pictures like this from like kids in high school and college sports, because it seems like they just grab whatever's this garbage can will do, and they put a bunch of ice water in it.
Andrea Seppi had a really, really funny one in a garbage can bucket thing.
Yeah.
But he didn't look. It's just the pose, the face.
Yeah, and that's what it's like. It's kind of,
Angle.
it's like it, because I don't find Milos unattractive. But
No, this isn't like, I'm not like trying to like slag off Milos, but it's just it's not a flattering photo.
no, but the thing of it is that with Milos, you never know if that was what he was going for.
Oh gosh, I didn't even think about that. Oh gosh, I didn't even think about him trying to be purposely stupid and like.
Yes, because he has a really odd sense of humor, and so it's like I could see him going, "Oh, everybody likes these ice bath pics, dude. Let's like get a garbage can, and I'm just gonna like do this really weird non-erotic pose,
And
but
like
it's
not even take his shirt off.
yeah,
Like, and it's like this weird half pose, and he just looks like he has little kid legs and little like tidy whitey type things. Like the whole picture is just wild.
and then this is Jakub's great thing is imagine walking into the bathroom to take a piss and Routich just sits in a trash can of ice water in the middle of the room, staring deep into your eyes.
Yeah, that really painted a picture I didn't want. So thank you. Thank you, Jakob.
So
Oh god.
I said that's kind of what we do here is sexual, creepy, and weird. So we just
Sexual,
had to
creepy, and weird. Sexual, creepy, and weird. Sexual, creepy, and weird.
too much
Oh man.
information. So this is what I labeled this in our
Here we
outline as
go.
the palate cleanser.
It's more
This
like
is
it.
lovely Liam, who, when there's only one ice bath free, you've got to make it work.
Yeah, make it work.
He's like leaving a lot of room there for like a third person to get in.
How many people are you waiting for?
I was like, you're getting really close.
And like,
to
what's the
down there.
bubbles? Like, did they put bubble bath in it?
That's what I was wondering too.
Like, but here's the thing: I haven't really looked at Dom. I'm looking now.
I know. It's like this is a lovely photo for both of them.
Yes, no, but he looks like he's in a Colgate commercial.
Yes.
Like just got out of the shower, brushed his teeth, like fresh and clean.
Yes.
Colgate toothpaste.
Yes. And it's almost like that extra room in the bath is like suggestive. Like, come on
Yeah,
in.
like, hey, the water's nice. Not you, Milos. You stay in the bucket. It's like he's in timeout. You stay in the bucket, Milos.
This is actually perfect. That's why Milos was in the bucket. Because the boys wouldn't let him join.
That's why he's pouting, like his hands are crossed. And
I'm
big
sexy
boys won't let me in
too.
the big boy bath.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh, I love tennis players so much. You guys, I really do. I really do. Oh god.
Oh, this is amazing.
I swear we could do 3 hours just on those two photos.
I know.
Go back and forth. 3 hours. I'm sorry. Stop doing that. Stop, I can't. Oh, I can't.
Oh man. Oh, and I have waterproof mascara, but it's not working.
Oh my gosh. It got even funnier. I didn't think that would get funnier, but it did. Oh my gosh. All right, we gotta move on.
Okay, we're moving on. Okay, we're back to stuff. Oh my god.
I'm sorry.
We're back to something like sweet and innocent. I really probably shouldn't have put this here after that weirdness. Let's get away from the children.
Don't let the children see. No little kid should be subjected to that. Oh gosh, Milos, I love you. Anyway.
So this was a thing, and I had to read like translated articles. So it sounded like there was some kind of a contest where these cities could compete to have Dominic come and play, and it was supposed to be with Sasha. And this little town, I'm going to say Vorshak. I apologize if I mispronounced that. They won, and Steph stepped in because I think Sasha was still sick. Because he had a virus at Wimbledon. And it was like this little tiny town, and they put this exhibition on it, and like 1,000 people showed up. And the boys played with all these little kids and played doubles, and there's actually video of it out there, and it's really cute.
I like the video where the net where they both jumped over the net at the same time.
Yes. Which every time tennis players do that, I freak out because I know
I freaked out too, but it looked cool because it worked. They didn't die,
and it was. I liked that when I started up the video on this EXO. They were finishing up one of the doubles, like probably one of the sets, I think, and Steph just kind of the kids were kind of hitting it back and forth, and Steph just started stepping out of the way. So that the kid had to hit every ball. And so then Dom did the same thing on the other side of the net. So the kids were just basically playing a singles match for this one point. And it was just hilarious. And I just, all these pictures are just like...
They're so pretty. They look like an ad.
Yeah.
Well, not that one.
Well, it was like...
making a weird ass
Tom tends to do that.
Before it looked like an ad, and it looked like a clothing ad. And
how about this one?
What is that? Look, Kyle Edmund is behind them. Oh my gosh, they look like they're auditioning for Grim Reapers. But I love their Adidas outfits.
Yeah, the
pink looks so damn good.
There's a good one, Adami. I just love that the print on him, and
it's amazing. I do like Adidas.
Yeah, they've been coming out with some better stuff lately, and a lot of people complain about it, but I usually like the Stella stuff on the girls. Because at least it's creative. I don't always agree with her color choices, but I like I like detail. I can't stand it when they come out in just like a plain white shirt and black shorts or something for every tournament. It's like, and especially these young guys that just love this.
Oh my gosh.
Steph's face is just...
What is he filming that causes him to make that face?
Oh, I wonder if I have to see if it's in this thread, because there was something where he was doing really interesting camera angle, and I'm not seeing it here.
All these pictures are just wonderful.
Oh, here it is.
Oh my gosh.
The cameras.
What are you doing? Hey, we should hire him as our cameraman.
Apparently.
Like we need to go that route. We should have a night session TV show and just give him the camera.
I think so. I'm here for it.
You know what's funny is I think he probably would do it.
Yeah.
Like, I think if you just give him a camera, he'll be like, I got this.
Oh, for sure. For sure. We'd absolutely love it. And we'll just tell him we're like super important.
Yeah, Steph, just slide into our DMs.
Slide into our DMs. You can be on our pre-show.
Pre-show. Oh my gosh. You're obsessed with that pre-show.
I'm obsessed with this pre-show. Okay.
Okay. This is like a game for me.
Yeah,
apparently.
I'm also obsessed with Tommy Paul. I love this. I'm so not into like bro dudes. That's really usually not my thing. But there is something about Tommy Paul because there's like a weird bit of like hippie mixed in with it.
Didn't we all kind of agree that he was like the Ryan Lochte of tennis?
Yeah,
wasn't that a thing that we talked about?
I think that's what Shauna said. Yes, because it's just like you're feeling like you should like be repulsed by him, but he's just like so attractive. It's like in so many different ways. Although I'm still not sure about this mustache. I went and saw him in Winnetka, and
I hate mustaches. Yeah. I'm not a mustache person.
but I said that it was like, oh, how did I describe it? It was like a villain in an 80s buddy cop movie.
Oh my.
Crossed
That's
with,
not what you want to hear.
and I said crossed with intentionally ironic.
Wow.
Which I said, and then so after a while it started to seem like it suited him.
Yeah.
Because he just has this sort of like wry quality to him. Like you're never quite sure how serious he's being about anything. But I am absolutely fascinated by his Instagram because he puts these one-word captions and then people reply with 1 or 2 words. And none of it makes a damn bit of sense to me. Like this one just says movement.
Well, technically, he looks like he's moving in the photo.
Well,
looks like he's moving up the court.
But then Madison Keys replies with a circle with a line cut through it, which I went to Urban Dictionary.
Really?
And
wow, you did your research.
Yeah, and one of them, movement, is like, I think it's like an accomplishment. Like, you know, making like movement.
Moving up, moving on up, like the sitcom.
And then another one is...
That was such an old sitcom, no one's going to know that reference. Moving on up. Anyway.
Does that beat Barney Miller? Because wasn't that what one of my examples was at one point? It's like
we had like taxi references.
Taxi, that's what it was. It was Taxi. I can't remember Taxi. I think the Jeffersons is worse than Taxi.
Moving on up. Hey, I haven't seen the Jeffersons in so long. I don't know how that came out of my mouth, but yeah.
But the second definition was then it's like when you're hitting on a girl. It was like, oh, I made movement on her or something. It's like making the moves, really. It's just like another way of phrasing it. So then JD is like, well, that circle with a line through it from Madison works both ways. It's kind of like, oh, hell no.
No.
So you've got that. And then this person replies, gas.
Well, you need gas sometimes for movement.
Exactly. I'm like, so that's another definition.
So I'm with you.
So this thing has levels. Yeah. And then you've got this person that just goes, damn.
You skipped over Pappy Paul.
Yeah, Pappy Paul.
What is Pappy? Like, is that like a daddy thing? What?
Yeah.
Pappy sounds like Grandpa Paul.
Yeah, but isn't that more like a bro? It's kind of like a bro thing. Like, hey, Pop. Isn't that? I think that's kind of, yeah. I
didn't know guys were calling each other Pappy. That's a new one.
Yeah.
We didn't do that in my generation.
And then here, we've got storm coming.
Well, storm movement again. A movement. It's all in the theme, Valerie.
And then peep me.
Call me, peep me, if you want to reach me. That's not the real lyric, but
and then
that's Kim Possible. That's the Disney Channel.
And then you look 35.
How old is he really?
He's
young, right?
20-something. Yeah, he's early 20s, I believe.
Yeah, I think the stash, makes you look more Pappy.
Yeah, and then here, some guys have all the luck. And then
a little vague. Like, look of what?
And then what? There, I thought there was an. Oh yeah, here. Then this.
Wait, what's going D?
Yeah, going D.
Going D. Did they mean to say deep? Going deep.
And then
they forgot the P.
And
because someone used all the P's for Pappy up.
Ran out of P's.
Alright, sorry, go on. What?
So I was saying, was that part of the thing about making a move on a girl? He's going deep now? I don't know. It's like there's
going deep in a tournament. Like, going deep. That makes sense, but they forgot the P.
Yeah. I don't know. And then this one, time to get #Rondaway.
Okay, my first thought was Ronda Rousey, but that's not really, that doesn't even work. Ronda away. God, it's like It's a fucking word game. Like when you have the letters and you have to try and figure out the word.
Yeah, and it's kind of like, is it rhyming slang? Is it some kind of in joke? Is it? And then I'm going.
Did you Google it?
No, I actually didn't look that one up because I was just flabbergasted. And JD, I was reading him these, and he goes, "I'm gonna look into Sun City tomorrow." Which, if people who know, Sun City is a retirement community. Because it's just like, I'm not this old, am I?
I like the one that says, "Bring that dragon energy out, Martinez."
Yeah. Exactly. It's like, what does it mean?
Who's the other guy with him? Is that Martinez? Is that his alter ego with the stash? He's just like, "I'm Martinez."
Yeah, there was like separate conversations going on in here.
You killed my father, prepared to die. It just seems like his whole, like, I've read through his comments before when you mentioned it. It just seems like they're all inside jokes.
Yes.
And then we're not supposed to get any of them. Like, we need a dictionary of, like, oh crap. But I feel like some of these young guys talk, and I feel like I can hang with them for a while, but after a bit, I feel like I would just have a headache. Like, what are you saying?
Yeah, exactly. And then and then it was like, I said, so are they saying things that mean something to them? I said, or are all these people just saying stupid shit and acting like they understand it because they don't want to seem uncool?
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. But I was thinking about this. Like, I grew up in the 90s and stuff. We didn't really have that. We had slang, of course, but not as much slang as the kids today. Like, all we did was call everybody dude. Like, he's a dude, you're a dude, we're all dudes. Like, that's all we did. We just called everybody dude and everything dude.
Right.
Like, dude. Like, that was all we did. We kept it simple. Now there's so many slang words that it's hard to keep up.
Yeah. And I said, it's just like, and what kills me is it's like, they just talk in one word. So then you can't even like get it by context or it's just like, oh my God, do you have a expanded vocabulary? Do you form sentences? I'm so confused.
Oh my gosh, this is the new language, and all us old people are gonna be like we thought text speak was bad.
Yeah, no kidding. It's like, but so all you people out there, I know we have some young followers. So please tell me if this shit makes sense to you, or if this is just like a really small click speak, of bros. I need to know.
There's one example that was, I think, worse than that you showed me before.
Oh,
it was like real broy, and we were just like, and then there's some I looked at where I'm like, okay, I get that. I can follow that.
Yeah. But this one just blew me away because it's so many things that are only like one or two words.
I'm still like going deep because I swear it's deep.
Yeah, it probably
like going deep. I think you're right. But they forgot the P because that other person stole all the P's. Like Pepe Le Pew over there. I don't know, what do you say, Pappy?
Yeah, Pappy.
It reminds me of Pappy's World, which is like an old kid show.
Oh my God.
Bringing out all the pop culture references in like 5 minutes.
So onward with things that don't make sense, or we've talked about the Harrison brothers on this podcast before.
Yes, you were a fan.
I am a fan, and I have inappropriate thoughts about both of them.
Yeah, you have a brothers thing. We've talked about this before with brothers and twins. And...
Yes. And so, but Christian has Instagram now, and some of his comments and captions are, this one is, who gave me this slippery baseball? Almost made Ryan get down and dirty. What?
Yeah, because it kept coming out of your hands, so he had to get down on his hands and knees and get it because your butterfingers.
Yeah, well, when I went to Ryan's Instagram, it sounded like whatever this event they did was. I'm just gonna guess that it was obviously Christian pitched something badly, And I guess Ryan had to maybe he had to get down on his knees to hit the ball.
I get it. This makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah, and so Ryan's tweet made more sense because he was saying, "Oh, I had to hit a great shot or something to keep my brother from being embarrassed or something like that." So
who gave me this slippery ball because he's fucked up? See, but that's the thing. We don't have context. We weren't there, Christian.
Yes.
Without the video, we have no idea what the hell you just said.
Right. So
if we saw the video, then we would be like, "Oh, he screwed up the pitch and it was slippery and he had to,
Right, but it's he doesn't realize that this is this really kind of suggestive caption.
Well, I think probably you were one of the rare people that would probably read that and go, "Well, hello."
Well, no, let me tell you the other one.
Okay,
he's got a post further down that's a picture of when he and his brother played doubles together, and Ryan's kind of like,
"Oh my god." Sorry, one photo, two noobs. I read that as two knobs.
You never know.
Go on.
Well, so you've got your brother Looser.
Your brother Looser instead of Loser. Looser. Your brother is looser than you. Okay.
And it's
How
all
would
slippery.
You know? 8937. Also, what kind of name is Ben?
Oh my god!
I didn't expect to make her laugh at that.
Oh my god! It is definitely getting late.
It is when you start to go. It's.
Oh my god! But anyway, so he's got this picture of them playing doubles, and Ryan's kind of grabbing him in a hug, but from behind, kind of. And he tweeted, "It was kind of hug." Yeah,
because people don't attack people.
Yeah. And it was instead of he hashtagged it, and instead of Throwback Thursday, he hashtagged it Broback Thursday.
Oh my god.
Suspiciously sounds like Brokeback.
Yeah. Do people okay, first of all, is that even a hashtag? Most people use hashtags because then other people would find it through that hashtag. How many people are hashtagging Broback? I know. Is that a common hashtag the bros are using? We gotta consult with Tommy Paul right now.
Exactly. That's why I put this one after it, because I'm maybe if we blend these two things, they'll start to make sense. But it's almost like Christian. It's are you so innocent that he's gone so far around that he goes into really creepy territory? I wish I could find that Milos picture instantly.
Anytime someone says something that you look at disapprovingly, you should send that. I'm judging you in my bucket. No, now she gotta find where she freaking was.
Yeah, I gotta figure out where I left off. Oh my god! So Christian is not doing anything to dissuade me from my perverted thoughts about him and his brother.
It's making it worse.
Oh my god. And I'd probably be blocked by both of them if they ever hear this. I'm so sorry. I love you both.
She loves you both too much. That's the problem.
You both too much. I love your tennis too, I swear. Go America. Oh my god. Oh, so now we're on to something.
It doesn't help our conversation.
No.
So Kyrios, out of nowhere, don't really know why, decided to give his water bottle a good time and jerk his water bottle off. Or as I like to call it, the Great British Jerk Off. Where instead of a lovely prize, Mary Berry shows up with a $18,000 fine notice, wedged between a Victoria sponge. That's what you get. Yeah, and it's funny because if you scroll down, what's this conversation without cock? Oh, it's not there.
It is here. One. It's further down. Here it is.
What? Oh, so Tanasi Kokonakis weighed in. The cock weighed in.
The cock weighed in.
Cock weighed in and finding it funny. But he was like the only one that found funny because, like I said, he got like an $18,000 fine for doing that, which.
But he was also doing this. We'll ask Tommy what that means. I mean, I can make guesses, obviously, but
I missed it. I don't.
He's doing the circle thing on his leg.
I don't. What is okay?
And here, there's someone replied, "Strong circle game." Bruh.
Bruh. The circle game, bruh. I forgot all the bro speak we just learned.
Movement.
Great movement, bruh. Move on that circle game. Like Curio circle game. Yeah. So here's the thing. I think the fine was absolutely outrageous. I think it was way overblown because it's yes, it's sexually suggestive, but it's it's a water bottle. It's not like he whipped his dick out and actually masturbated. But I also, in defense of the fine, it was caught on TV apparently, and these networks are family friendly, and they have to think of them and their viewers and their sponsors, and you don't want to encourage it. But I do think the fine was really inflated.
Yeah. And I think basically what the response to that was, it was precedent. It was just like, they're just looking at him like, you've done like 12 things like this now, and so now we're pissed, and so now we're just gonna levy the biggest fine we can. But this was the same thing about the other Kyrgios thing, where I was watching this and I'm going, I mean, whatever. It's not scarring or anything. Well, maybe it is a little bit, but you're just looking at it going, why did you decide to do this when you're on camera? You're not in an EXO. It's weird.
Oh no, it's totally weird. I have no idea why the fuck he did it. Like, it's such a weird thing to do, and I'm not like, hey, that was really awesome, man. Like, it's just my point of like, we kind of got a little chuckle out of it. It was weird. He had a moment. It was such a weird decision. But
not to be confused with a movement. He had a moment.
He had a moment. But yeah, the fine thing, I go, you know what? I understand that he needed to be fined. I'm fine with them fining him for this because I think, you can't do that on TV. You just can't. But I think that the amount was just crazy for jerking off a water bottle.
Yeah, and what was interesting to me was I found out that a lot of people who were irate about the fine didn't understand that he had done something sexual. They saw this GIF and just thought he was like shaking his water bottle around, and they didn't understand why he got such a huge fine for it.
Really?
Yes, there were people that didn't get that it was sexual.
That's
so
funny.
Are pure people in this world, apparently.
I mean, I have friends who didn't masturbate, so maybe they don't know. But yeah, I'm not one of them. Yeah.
Asking for a friend.
Yeah. I don't know how to phone a friend. I get it. But but that's what I said, that it was, in a way, it was kind of innocent, because if you're watching that and you're young, you might not pick up on it.
Yeah.
It was something that, he's just, because it's funny, because a lot of them have, stuff in their drinks that they shake.
Yeah,
and
that's
they drink. So in a way, it could just be him shaking his water bottle and then some water came out. It doesn't. Sometimes, like you said, some people don't really register it. I mean, he was obviously doing something sexual, but it was innocent enough where I don't think it needed that much of a fine, because it's not like he humped the umpire chair or something that, And please, Curious, I'm not giving you ideas. That is not for you to go, hey, that's actually a funny idea. I'm going to do that. Don't. Although the New York night crowd would love it.
Yes, they would.
They would.
Oh my God.
They would lose their minds. They would adore it.
And to just throw another thing in here, why did the camera person continue focusing on him? Because a lot of times when the player starts doing something like sticking their hand down their shorts or something, the camera will quickly move away. Like, oh, we didn't.
Well, like I said, they probably didn't really realize it because it kind of happened in a way where you couldn't. I mean, we obviously knew what they were doing, but behind a camera, you might not. It might not register because you're not going to think he's going to do that.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
It's not what you're looking for.
No, I think sometimes it's probably harder to see and harder to register. And then when it the water came out, you clearly can see what he was doing.
Right.
You know, when you see it all together, you see what he was doing. But I think at the beginning, you probably didn't really pick up on it.
Yeah, that's true. So, while we're talking about crazy Instagrams and things, Sybil Kova has just kind of been off the charts lately. and one of the things that really got to me is her Insta story has like a ton of stuff. And one of the things was she was showing off this wall behind her in her home that is a picture of her mostly nude from the side. It's difficult to tell here, but it's this larger than life picture of herself. And in her Insta story, she had a picture of the guy that seemed to be doing her hair, and he looked naked. He was behind her, so he maybe had shorts on, but he was shirtless. And I'm going, I have never gone to like a hairstylist or something who was shirtless while doing my hair.
That makes me mad because last time I got my hair done, the hairstylist told me she was a demon hunter. And the entire time she was doing my hair, telling me how she puts holy water everywhere. And she told me about the chant she uses. And I wanted to run away. I have never once went in to get my hair done and got like a hunky shirtless dude fucking doing my hair. Like, where's that? Where's that salon?
Apparently you have to have money, I guess.
Oh, yeah. It's always a catch, man.
But it's just like, it's kind of like when Trump posted those pictures with the golden toilets and stuff. It's just kind of like conspicuous consumption, you know. I said sometimes it's like going to someone's Instagram. Sometimes you see more than you wanted to, but I know I put this one on my Instagram because I knew that the straight boys following me were really tired of seeing all the shirtless guys.
I like that though. I think that's really pretty. Like that's.
It is actually. It's a nice shot.
I mean, all I'm gonna say is, if I had an ass like that, I would be putting it in your face all the fucking time. Like I would be like, "Look at it, look at it,
love it."
I
guess I would say, as the kids say, it's just kind of extra to me.
It's extra. It is very extra. It's very glamorous and fashion forward and. It's a lifestyle I don't know if I will ever experience, but like I said, if I had an ass like hers, I would be showing you every day.
Speaking of which, I love Borna. This one, I actually missed this one, so bless people for actually saving this and putting it out there in Twitter. We're gonna share this. Borna was extremely excited about the World Cup because obviously Croatia went very far, and he was very big into it. It's a tiny country, and he just couldn't believe that they had this small country able to get their team this far. So he was posting a lot of stuff with him celebrating. He was in these like creepy, scary, pitch black, dark clubs where it was all filled with men screaming over the World Cup.
Okay.
It was very interesting.
I don't know if I want to be there or I'm afraid.
You know what? It's scary because it was like Nole posted a picture like a year ago that he went to. I think it was football in Serbia, and it was so freaky because the whole crowd was like 98% men. It's kind of like, women don't watch sports. They're kind of like a little bit more of that old world kind of thing. And all the men were like super like shaved heads and muscles and like scary looking. And that's when Borna was tweeting this stuff from these bars. I was like, I'm frightened. just kind of like.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Yeah, I like guys that are very soft. Like, I don't like bros or rough, tough looking dudes.
Yeah, and Borna to me is actually a little bit kind of sensitive to me. I don't.
Yeah, he doesn't intimidate me.
Right.
But he has a very, he's not intimidating.
Yeah, but he's kind of in that culture, so it's like I'm kind of hoping that doesn't like screw him up somehow, because I like the way that he is, and I actually like the way that he's naked all the time. But yeah, there was a lot of question about this, and it's like we just said we think he's probably wearing underpants.
Probably
because it's.
I mean, we can't be sure. We need to really investigate this.
Yes, we need to get a closer view. He's just a gift on social media, because he gives you stuff like this, and there's lots of him diving into pools, also in his underpants, and
he doesn't leave a lot to the imagination.
Yeah, he's very generous, and he's also, the last couple of things he did Insta stories. And I think he put some of it on Twitter too, where he had a camera on him, and it was his point of view playing tennis, which was actually kind of cool, because you got to see his point of view when he did the ball toss on the serve and stuff, and you see the ball go up into the sky, and so it was kind of cool. But he's got the camera really close to him, so the sound is super loud, and we all know how Borna sounds when he grunts when he's playing. It is like super porn.
I love when male players grunt, because it's very low and it's very it's sexy. Ernest does it every once in a while, not always, but he does sometimes.
Yeah, and Borna has that kind of like it's very sensual grunt, which I mean he's the one that even put it on Instagram when he was getting that rub down during an MTO, and he was making sounds like a porn movie. So it's like he's aware of how he sounds.
I do think sometimes players, especially if they're heartthrobs, and they're aware.
Yes.
Like they kind of know what they're doing, and they know they're torturing us.
Yes. And they know they're going to end up in this podcast.
It would be funny if someone down the line posts something is like, I bet this is going to end up on the night session.
Oh, I would. That's like my dream.
I know.
Absolutely love
we got to keep doing this. We got to. So everybody listening to this has to keep sharing it and expand it, so that we do more of them and that we get attention, and players will purposely post things that we can talk about on the show.
Exactly.
That's your homework.
That's right. Just like I like to think that because I started Shirtless Dom Wednesday, that Dominic has started posting shirtless videos of himself on Instagram. So he's participating. This is what we want.
Yeah.
My other dream is to actually have someone call Luca Pookie on air. That's my other.
Maybe it'll be you. I mean, you don't know.
That would be awesome. So that's Baby Borna. And this was when we were tweeting about that we were going to be doing this podcast. This is the lovely Manouche sent this along. And the Frenchies are a gift. They vacation together, and then they post all kinds of pictures like this.
And I mean, you can't go wrong with a back arc.
It's just amazing. And Pookie's peach is one of the finest. But I
gotta love them peaches, man.
And then Luca this is another thing that slays me.
I love how you say that so casually.
But Luca actually posted on it was in an Insta story where his hair was like a foot long on the top, and he posted a picture and said, should I cut it or not?
No.
apparently everyone voted yes because they turned up with this haircut. It's still, luckily, he left it a little long on top, but it's really short on the sides. And but he still looks pretty gorgeous.
No, he does, but yeah. What is with everybody is so quick to cut, like to say yes for haircuts, and I'm like, no.
Yeah.
As long as guys keep it where I can like run my fingers through their hair, and like I like, my favorite thing is when guys have like a little bit of curl on the end, like just a delicate little curl, and it's like wavy a little bit, like I just blanked on his name. In Grantchester, James Norton in Grantchester. How he has that little wave in the front. I like that.
Yes, and I tend to like Pookie's. I like his hair when it falls forward on his forehead. Yes, because he's got beautiful eyes, and that seems to like frame it really nicely. But I was surprised because like usually when they cut their hair, I'm like, but I thought he ended up looking okay. But this seems to be, they all seem to like go in like trends because they all started with this beard crap. And now everybody seems to be shaving the sides of their head. This because Dom's got that super short haircut now too, and
that's a popular haircut these days.
Yeah.
But so, what is your thing with beards?
Because they have such beautiful faces, and then they cover it up with this like scraggly crap. Like this one's not too bad from Pookie, but in this lighting and stuff, it's nice. But a lot of times his beard's like pretty blonde, and then it ends up just looking like he just kind of has like a furry face, and he like looks homeless.
I hate when Ernest grows out his beard. I like scruffiness, like a little bit.
Yeah.
Where it comes in just a little bit. But I don't like full beards. I hate full beards. I'm not big on facial hair, so.
Yeah, it's like the only guys with beards right now is Hachanov. His beard's nice because it's not all like unkempt and stuff, and it's like suits his face. He like still looks handsome with it, so I'm fine with that. And Simone, I don't mind it when he's got the beard, especially if his hair's long. If he's got the super long hair and he looks like Wolverine.
I just don't like it super full. Like when it gets super long, I don't like it.
Yeah. Well, that's like Benoit's beard makes it crazy.
Yeah, I don't like it. Shave it, please.
Yeah, it's and like
just trim it down a little. Like, ugh.
The scary thing is that is better than it was. It was like super out of hand for a while. And then his hair was like bad. Well, now it's white. I mean, we don't know what to say about that. But here's lovely Stanley. Everyone's going batshit over his abs, like he didn't have them before, and it's like
we'd all like a slice of that.
Yeah. Hello.
He's always had abs.
He's always had abs. And I suspect that he used a nice filter on this because these colors are really rich and he's usually not quite that tan.
I was going to say, like, he really fell asleep there.
Yeah. So I think there might have been a little bit of a filter going on there to kind of enhance everything, which I am fine with. I love
how he calls it summer naps, yet he's holding a drink in the air. Like if you were napping, that would be in the water right now.
Yeah, exactly. This is so not posed at all.
And I like how there's clearly there looks like there's slices of lemon or lime in the drink. So it's very like matchy.
Yes, it's very artistic. The funny thing I saw was that I saw this picture in a tweet, and it had a caption in a foreign language, and I can't remember, it was like Czech or something like that, and so I had to use the translator to read what the headline was. And they were saying that there was the rumor that Stan was just in tears because he wasn't recovering from his knee surgery as quickly as possible, and couldn't play as well as he'd hoped. And they're like, yes, he really looks like he's suffering here.
Yeah, he's tortured.
Yeah,
I'm sure he is, upset and frustrated. But yeah, and he's handling it.
Yeah, exactly. I think he's okay. Which I thought Stan has given some really good interviews about it, because what he said is he's with you. He's not a patient person. And that's what you just said to me today.
I'm not a patient person at all. I'm really bad at that.
Yeah. And so he has been frustrated that it's like he feels like he should be playing awesome, and he's like has a good practice, and then he goes out in the match and he gets tired and plays like crap, and he doesn't know why. And because everything is just by inches, and he wants to like be back to winning a slam, and he's stuck at, let's just try to win a match, so he's frustrated, but it's like he feels like he's making progress. But he had the tough loss because he beat Dimitrov, which a lot of people were surprised by. I wasn't particularly, because I love Grigor, but that match was a toss-up over which roller coaster wave was gonna coincide with the end of the match. But I mean, then he went out to was it Fabiano in the next round? It was like, what? So anyway, we love you, Stan, and your abs. And this is I wanted to finish off because our lovely Steph in the tunnel. Steph did this Insta story with his brother Petros, who is also good looking, and he put up that they were answering questions from fans, and so people were like, like, what's your favorite food and what movies do you like and that kind of stuff, and they were just like so adorable, like trying to look cool, and they're both shirtless, answering these questions and stuff. But then the questions started to be like, jump in the pool, we want you to go over here and get wet again. And and they were doing it. Going is
Peter sending these in?
It was like they were like, oh, it was something like a webcam. I'm like, oh my God, people are
live web chat,
and they're doing it. So then he just posted these today. Here's him and his brother again, frolicking in the water.
I love how fluffy his hair is.
I know. And this thing is just like mesmerizing. Like, I watched it over like 5 times because it's just like.
Can you imagine that, like, just being in like a paradise like that, like with him next to you? Like...
I'm sure a lot of people are imagining that.
It's just, wow.
As I don't think we're wrong. I think he is going to be like huge. Like, I mean, I think he's got the potential for like Federer huge, because it's just, he's got the star quality. He's got beautiful tennis. He's like exciting to watch. He's talented. He's gorgeous.
He is. I mean, I'm on board.
Yes, I am so there. And I swear, I think it's been 4 hours.
It is. I'm pretty sure it's been 4 hours.
This may be a record. I think it's a record.
It might be. I think anytime, and it's funny because we always go, do we have enough? And then like, we forget that we have like 100 stories in our head that we don't know until we start talking. And so we thank you if you stuck with us throughout that. And I'm waiting for Milos to pop up again. But yeah. Oh my gosh, it's like 4 a.m. Like, I don't know if I should go to bed with that, man.
Let's leave with the Rafa Delpo hug, which I find this photo captivating, because that eyeballing Rafa's doing too adds like another level to it.
I mean, it's the point of the show to make everything dirty, but you really go the extra mile. You put it in there.
Yeah. I will be later.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, but that was a great match, and that was a very touching moment that Valerie just ruined. It made it dirty. It was very touching and sweet, and Valerie just smutted that shit up.
I am not the only one. Read the comments to that tweet.
Read the comments. I didn't say that. No, that's the whole point of the show. You're very on brand.
You know what it is too? Is like we haven't done one of these in a while, and I've had to be serious in my other podcast. So it's just like I've just like been pent up.
That's why you brought me in. You're just like, hey, I need a release.
I've been living like a monk for like a year.
Oh my gosh. We need to do things more often so that when we do,
they're not 4 hours.
Yeah. They're not 4 hours long. But our fans, we did test that. Our fans are like, we'll watch 12 hours. And we're like, challenge accepted.
Hold my beer.
Hold my water bottle. Curious. Hey, Curious, can you hold that for me? Thanks.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. We love you all. If you've gotten this far, I thank you very much. I am sorry. I know I went off on super tangents.
I did. I'm sure I did too. But I think I can't remember anything I said. But I have no recollection of anything I said. But I honestly think, no matter how long this is, 4 hours, 5 hours, I really think that Milos makes it so much worth it. Like, if you stuck with us, you were in for a treat. Because that was the best part. That was my favorite part of the entire show. I'm so happy right now, you guys.
and just remember, you didn't want to include this.
I didn't see that.
I had to convince you.
She's lying to you people. She's lying. I never said that. I just said that was horrifying. That's all I said.
You seemed reluctant.
No, I was. First of all, you sprung that on me. I didn't know how to react. I wasn't prepared.
Next time, warn me, for God's sake.
You should have said, like, it was just a reaction of, like, I don't know how to react, so I'm just going to sit here quietly for a second and reflect on what I just saw.
Movement.
Moved on her like a bitch. Anyway.
Oh my god.
God, I can't believe, are we really ending this with me quoting Trump like in like the skeeziest video ever made?
Oh my
I'm
god.
so sorry. Oh my gosh. I don't know. I just made it worse.
We need
I didn't know
a palate cleanser.
I didn't know I could make the Milos thing worse, and then I just did.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh, that's ridiculous.
We gotta go to this one. This one's better.
That's nice. Let's just do the show again. That's what we're doing. We've never ended a show by going back to the rest of the show. Like, let's just round it up again.
I'm sure we've got new things we can say.
Yeah, I'm sure I forgot a ton of things, but
oh my god.
Oh my gosh, my throat is killing me for laughing so hard. So thank you for sticking with us.
Yes, thank you.
And make sure you follow us on social media. That's in front of you.
Yes, and Valerie and Courtney. That's us.
Go follow Milos because he deserves it. If you're not, go follow him. He deserves it. He's hopefully a good sport and doesn't hate us.
I swear, because I said I'm like 90% sure that was his intention.
That's good. That's good. I'm glad he gave us material. He's the first one already giving us material. Thank you, Milos. God, that was so much fun.
Oh, so we will hopefully do this again sometime when we have another spare 4 hours to talk to you all. So thank you for listening, and this has been the night session.